with bated breath. For months we've waited, and now the cauldron has been lit. After all of the preparation, all of the qualifiers, and all of the pomp and circumstance of the opening ceremony, it is my honor to welcome you to the 2019 MarbleLympics. I'm Greg Woods, in front of a sold-out crowd of 11,340 in the beautiful Seven Seas Stadium. We begin our quest for that, the gold trophy that will eventually be awarded to the champions of the MarbleLympics. We begin with an underwater race, similar to the qualifier rounds, but a little bit shorter, because actually competitors having some difficulty holding their breath for that long in the qualifier. King Triton up there, you see him with the flower, ready to fire the starting gun to get the event underway. And we're off in the MarbleLympics. Rocketeers up there on top. Early lead, Oceanics in an underwater event that should suit them, but instead they get nudged to the side by Balls of Chaos. Now watch to the far side. Green Ducks, they take the lead. They're very close with the Chocolatiers. Who's going to get it? That was too close to call. Oceanics, they're going to finish last again in an underwater event. They will not move on, but even this up top view, I think that's going to be too close to call. Green Ducks to the Chocolatiers. Who's got it? Chocolatiers, maybe an eighth of a roll ahead. And that is where they're going to finish. 1/100th of a second, but both the Chocolatiers and the Green Ducks are on to the semifinals. Race 2 of 4. Mellow Yellow, Raspberry Racers, Crazy Cat's Eyes, and the Midnight Wisps. Mellow Yellow, early lead down the ramp. They crash against the far wall, and they fall back into second. Raspberry Racers up into the lead, trying to fend off a challenge from Midnight Wisps. Now Crazy Cat's Eye to the near side. They briefly take the lead, but watch up top. Yet another close finish. Raspberry Racers gave them a spirited challenge at the end, and they got him. Just barely. Crazy Cat's Eye doing a little bit too much jostling there. I wondered if that was going to take some speed out of the Raspberry Racers. Midnight Wisps almost got there. 0.03 of a second the difference, but both of those two will move on. Crazy Cat's Eye, Mellow Yellow, not so much. Galactic, O-Rangers, Jungle Jumpers, and the Thunderbolts. Several fan favorites amongst these. Neck and neck and neck and neck right now. Jungle Jumpers, they get out to a 1-length lead. Watch up top, though. A good challenge by all of the marbles. Now the O-Rangers up into second place. This is going to finish as close as it started. I have no idea who just won. Let's watch this. Oh my goodness, that is close. I'll have to rely on timing and scoring here. I can tell you it was not the Jungle Jumpers. They fell astern just a little bit, and there's the view that is definitive. Team Galactic. It is actually a tie between them and the Thunderbolts, down to the 1/100th of a second, but both will advance regardless. All right, Hazers, Savage Speeders, Pinkies, and Indigo Stars in the gate, ready to go. Down they come. Oh, and it's a great turn by the Hazers. Watch Savage Speeders over on the far side. Indigo Stars going right down the middle, trying to stay off the wall. Hazers not doing a great job at that. That might let the Savage Speeders right back in it. Are they going to get them? No, they won't. Hazers stay ahead. Just barely, both they and the Savage Speeders will advance, but look at how much bumping on the wall they're doing. I figure that speed is really scrubbed off when you do that, but it's just enough. Both the Hazers and the Savage Speeders move on. Semi-final A, the Hazers, Green Ducks, Raspberry Racers, and the Thunderbolts. Everybody pausing pretty long after they bump up against that wall. Green Ducks, they slice to the near side. They take the lead in the middle, only to lose out. Hazers, they have it, getting a push from behind by the Thunderbolts. Now it's a three-way race, and it looks like the Hazers are going to get there. Contact midway down with the line in sight, and that pushed the Green Ducks just to the side a little bit. Again, its top two will move on. So it's not the end of the world. They do advance. Our other semifinal, the Chocolatiers, Team Galactic, Savage Speeders, and the Midnight Wisps. Down they come, the Savage Speeders to the early lead. Midnight Wisps trying to find a little bit of speed on the bottom line, and they're into second, barely. Oh, they get a little nudge back there from Team Galactic, and that slows them up by a ton. In the meantime, unimpeded, go the Savage Speeders on to the final. And the Chocolatiers are going to get there as well, managing to hold off Team Galactic by nearly 0.3 of a second. Who will win the first event of the MarbleLympics? The Savage Speeders, the Green Ducks, the Chocolatiers, and the Hazers. Hazers, early lead. Around the turn, it's back to the Savage Speeders. Down the hill they come. Finish line in sight. Getting caught up in a little gaggle up there. Can anybody challenge the Savage Speeders? The Hazers are trying, and they're gaining quickly. But the challenge has been answered, and the Savage Speeders take the first gold of the MarbleLympics. Rapidly getting there, 25 points in a 15-18 time. The Green Ducks, newcomers, managed to grab onto a silver in their very first event. Chocolatiers round out the podium in third. A wonderful start to the 2019 MarbleLympics. The Savage Speeders peerless throughout. In front of a huge packed grandstand. And a shout out and a thank you to the Patreons who are up in the VIP suites. Well, did you bet that the Savage Speeders were up there? Bet shares saying that they were one of the favorites. Rangers also one of the other favorites. We'll see how it goes in event number 2, funnel spinning. Coming off of the Savage Speeders' opening victory. First gold of the 2019 MarbleLympics, we move to event number 2, the funnel spin. Welcome inside of 7C Stadium at Big Woods. The best 4 marbles of each of these 2 heats will advance. The goal, stay in the funnels as long as possible. Keep your momentum up. Oh, and apparently we're hearing that the Rangers got stuck higher up the course. You can see on the left there. And we'll have to check in on them, but early preliminary does not sound good. Oh my, that would be a big change of pace here. Well, in the meantime, we watch and see what's happening. Pinkies circling in what would be considered last place. The farther down you are, the worse off you are. Is that the Hazers all the way up there in top? I think they're down into the second funnel, but they are holding on to the provisional lead, nearing 40 seconds into the competition. The Rangers technically out, so they would be in last. But who is going to finish the course? Great performances higher up there. The Savage Speeders trying to do whatever they can. Can they make it 2 golds in a row? They've taken the lead up there in funnel number 5. Keeping that momentum circling around the opening, trying to stay out as long as possible. Balls of Chaos, Galactic, they're falling through. One of the marbles went through 2 funnels in a row, and they're already down to number 9. 3 marbles down there in 9, and the Pinkies will drop through to 10 first. Meanwhile, up top, Savage Speeders dominating this event, a full 1 funnel lead, and as I say that, they drop into 7, and now that lead is reestablished. Down below, penultimate funnel. On the Pinkies, they may not finish last, especially if they get a nudge here from the Chocolatiers. Down below, who is going to drop through first? Chocolatiers. Oh, now 3 marbles down there, just like that. We get a shove, and our first finisher in dead last, at least among those who did finish, will be the Chocolatiers. Up top, in funnel 10, Savage Speeders trying to do their part to advance and try to make a run at their second straight. They do drop through. It is still passing. They did not win this particular heat. Instead, that honor will go to the Hazers. Some of the competitors down there saying, all right, we get it. Just moving right across the opening there, almost throwing caution to the wind. A maze indeed. Look up top here. There is where the Rangers got stuck. We're hearing it was a mixture of them pulling up after they got that heavy impact, and they're injured. So the Rangers did not finish. They will technically be in last here. They will not move on. And those top 4, they will. On to heat number 2. It just goes to show the dangers of this sort of event. Marbles in the gate, ready to go. Down they come, and it's a strong team up there in numbers 1 and 2. Now down into funnel number 3. We've got a trio of marbles down there. Can't quite tell who that is up top. If that's mellow yellow, well, we got 2 very yellow-colored marbles working their way down this course. I think mellow yellow has now dropped into 5. And they're getting a little bit of help. Raspberry Racers also down there. Remember, the goal is to stay out as long as possible, which the Midnight Wisps up there are doing a fantastic job. And of course, as soon as I say that, commentator's curse, they drop through 2 straight funnels, 5 into 6, and continue to plummet down the course. Jungle Jumpers having a good run. Farther down, we've got 3 marbles down there, and Raspberry Racers trying to avoid the dubious honor of finishing first. They still have a few funnels to go. And look at the speed that some of these marbles continue, even midway down the course. That momentum really carrying them. You can see that bird's eye view in the upper right corner of your screen. 75 seconds elapsed. 3 marbles into 10, now dropping into 11. Is that Jungle Jumpers that have fallen all the way down there? Launch farther below. We may have our first finisher. Obviously, you want to avoid that distinction. There you go, and it will be the Oceanics. They come through in dead last. Crazy Cat's Eye next. Dancing around up there, the Raspberry Racers. Doing a fine job up in 10, a 1 funnel lead. Who's going to drop through next? Thunderbolt's doing a good job. All of these marbles that are still yet to finish, they will transfer. You don't have to finish up there, including the Jungle Jumpers. Coming through in second. And the Raspberry Racers, they don't have to hold this out any longer unless they're trying to push for a record past the 2:10 mark. And that will give us the order now. Those last ones do like to showboat just a little bit. Replay from funnels 2 and 3. There you can see the drop through, and that impact actually knocked 2 of the marbles down through. But it's the Raspberry Racers that come through in front of the Green Ducks. The Oceanics finished last. Another disappointing event for the home team. Our fans pretty disappointed so far. Of the eliminated ones, they go by time to determine points. The top 8, they head here into the final. There you can see the competitors. Down they go. Playing for keeps in this one, and already a launch through into funnel number 3 go the Thunderbolts. Not where they want to be. Circling around and doing a pretty good job here through these opening few funnels. Who can stay out the longest? Right now, it's not looking good for Balls of Chaos. They're joined by several marbles down there already in funnel number 4. Not even 25 seconds into this one, down they go into 5. In the meantime, the Thunderbolts, they've collected themselves and are now encircling the opening for funnel number 3, and they have inherited the lead. Hazers flipping around there now in 4, also joining Raspberry Racers. And the Thunderbolts up there for the lead. Farther down below, trying to avoid a bad finish is Team Galactic. They're joined by Balls of Chaos in funnel 7. Back up in 5. Raspberry Racers and the Hazers now dueling between them, and the Hazers win out the battle. Down into 6. Those 2 marbles trying to keep their momentum going, hoping that they're going to be joined by the Hazers, and they are. Bouncing back and forth, it is the Savage Speeders up there in top. They have now inherited the lead. Savage Speeders drop through into 7. Back and forth they go. Look at how far the Thunderbolts have fallen. Down there already into 10. After holding the lead for quite some time, this is not what they wanted. Now collecting themselves a little bit more. We have the Savage Speeders up at 8, slowly circling the opening. They drop into 9 and inherit the lead. Back and forth they go with the Hazers. Farther down below, we're just about to have our first finishers. Hazers doing a good job, holding on. Savage Speeders and them have been side by side for the last few funnels, and now it looks like the Hazers are going to drop on through. Savage Speeders retake the lead. Finishers down below, podium set to be determined. Question is, which order is it going to be? Will it be the Raspberry Racers? No, the Hazers drop through too quickly, and they're going to finish in the bronze spot. And the Savage Speeders keep their momentum up. They fall into the final funnel. Who's going to get it? And it will be the Savage Speeders. What a brilliant start to the MarbleLympics. This is a first that a team has got 2 golds in the first 2 events. And what a roller coaster ride that was. Savage Speeders pipped the Raspberry Racers. The Hazers came so close to getting that silver, but nothing doing. There's the final battle between them in funnel number 12. Look how close the Savage Speeders are to dropping through. They just keep it going a little bit longer, and that little impact right there, almost a double hit, drops them through. All is fair in love and war and funnels. Shout out to all of the fans, 11,000 plus in the stadium, including our Patreons up in the VIP section. Bets shake out this time. The Savage Speeders still up on top. I imagine their odds ever increasing over on BetShares.com. They lead 50 points to 31 from the Raspberry Racers. The Green Ducks dropped from second to third. Raspberry Racers, good job catapulting 3 up into second. Third event, balancing. Be ready for that. We've had events of speed and of strength, but now we move on to precision in the balancing event. Savage Speeders, 2 gold medals in 2 events, something no team has ever done. The Raspberry Racers and a lot of others trying to give chase. But it's going to be a tough order to knock them off. The committee bringing back this classic event. Balancing reinstated the O-Rangers. Kick us off. Can anybody reach that green square at the end? If you do, you get 130 points. But unfortunately, not quite there. Still a decent total. It gets added up based on the lengths you see. 34, 47, 52, and 93. 226. The mark to beat right out of the gate. O-Rangers leading us from the bottom of the leaderboard. Not a great showing thus far. Next up, Oceanics. 1 early drop-off, 2 that made it past 80. Let's see where that shakes out, but we could have new leaders in just the second one. 234 into first place they go, despite a 17 on the first marble, but 2 past 80. That'll help. You got to work as a team here. You got to stay close to the middle. Can't be bumping each other out of the way. The Pinkies going to try to do just that. Moved early on, they lose 2 of them. One of them manages to salvage past 100. That's a pretty good length, and that should help their total, but before 30, they had 1 drop. Yeah, 18, 31, 48, 103, not too bad. 200 points get them into third. Jungle Jumpers. In the gate, ready to go. Kind of an off-kilter start for a couple of those marbles, and that ended up trickling down to the rest of them, too, barely making any of them to 60. 154 and into a disappointing 4th place. Not where they want to be. Crazy Cat's Eyes. In the gate now with Red Eye leading the way. Down they come. Ooh, this is looking good. 2 of them staying on. Past 100. Are we going to have 2 finishers? Yes, we will. 2 finishers. That is fantastic. Where did the other ones shake out? Decent. Past 50 for one of the other ones. Well, we know they've got 260 at least. Where does the math work out? 351, and that's a new MarbleLympics record. 4 points better than the Rojo Rollers 2 years ago, and the Crazy Cat's Eyes are into first place. Provisionally holding that top spot, provisionally holding on to the MarbleLympics record. 351, the new mark to chase the Indigo Stars. They come off kind of angled to the right. One of them manages to hold on, and that will be a finisher, 130 to him. But where do the others? Prior to 30, 35, and then maybe prior to 40. Let's see where the math works out. But that one not good enough for a podium spot, even provisionally. With 2 finishers, you're going to have probably a guaranteed 1 finisher, if not 2, to be able to compete. With the Crazy Cat's Eyes mark, Mellow Yellow, what can they do? They angle off to the left, starting. One of them working dead down the middle. That's about as even straight as you could possibly get. 130 guaranteed. What about the others? That one that dropped near 75, that could be a good points haul. Is it going to be good enough at least to get them somewhere in the top 3? For now, yes. 273 for Mellow Yellow, a team sitting in 10th coming into this event. Nearing the halfway point in this one. That honor going to the Midnight Wisps, who early catapulting off to the left. They are going to get a finisher, but otherwise disappointing in the first third of that track. Trying to balance their way down to the end and just couldn't find center. Already 2 of them you can see on the replay. 1 off to the left and then 2 off to the right. In fact, helping each other bump to the near side. That's not going to be where they want to finish. A little bit of disappointment you can see out in the stands. That is, of course, with 8 marbles gone, 8 to go. Midnight Wisp sitting in 5th, but look at that Crazy Cat's Eye, a new MarbleLympics record, nearly 80 points clear of 2nd place. Balls of Chaos ready to go. 350, what was that? That's a false start. Look at that, the referee got hit with the starting gate, and he goes with him. He's able to get back up, and will head back up on top, and I guess they're going to get a redo. Balls of Chaos. Let's hope that didn't waste all of their energy in the first go. A safe release here, and disappointing finish. Nobody gets past 70. Disappointing. You wonder if all of that energy expended, good enough just for 7th. They agreed to the restart. What an odd series of events. The Chocolatiers. 3:51 to chase. They're not going to get there, even if this one finishes, and it does not. 2 off before they get to 30 or 35. Not how you want to shake that out. 9th, 172. The best they can muster for a team that sits in 7th coming into today's event. Team Galactic end up in the gate. Decent start. One holding on is going to get to the end. Yes. So they got a little bit past halfway with a couple of those marbles. Will this shake out to 2nd? 300 points. They did get one finisher, but with the crazy cat's eyes netting 2, it'll be a tough mark to beat without a lot of teamwork. Can the Thunderbolts do just that? Ooh, off to the left. Now they're recovering back to the middle. They've got 3 marbles still alive. 2 of them getting past 105, and they get a finisher. So 130 plus 100 plus more. That's going to be a good points total. And it's 408. It's a new MarbleLympics record. The crazy cat's eyes have been bested. 3 marbles getting past 100. And the Thunderbolts are our new provisional leaders. What a finish that was with just a few marble teams left to go. The Hazers, they're all bunched up together. Look at this. 3 of them still alive. 2 of them will finish. What will this work out to? Past 70. The rest should be past 100. And it's another new MarbleLympics record. 2 in a row. 4:38. And the Hazers take first place for now. I would be very surprised if anybody beats this, but I said the same thing the last 2 times that the MarbleLympics record was reset. What about the Green Ducks? They've seen the competition ahead of them. That seems to help these marbles. Ooh, and this may not help. If they get 2 finishers, that might recover a little bit. But those 2 early drop-offs, I don't know if that's going to be enough. Maybe for 3rd place. Will it get them there? No. 3:04. Good enough for 4th. The Green Ducks will not medal in this event. How about this? All 3 of our provisional top 3 reset the MarbleLympics record. Raspberry Racers, can they join the club? No, definitely not. Nobody past 75, and that is severe disappointment for the Raspberry Racers, who are hoping so much to get into this event and score some good points. Remember, you don't have to finish on the podium to net what could be a decent finishing position that can help you later on. Savage Speeders, can they make it 3 for 3? It isn't going to happen. Even if they do get this one finisher, that will not be enough, I would have to think, even to get 3rd place. The string of golds is over. The Savage Speeders will not make it 3 for 3. 7th. And that is our final competing team. That means that the top 3 all reset the MarbleLympics record, all come away with some good points to show for it, and a little bit of precious metal too. The Hazers get the gold, Thunderbolts in the silver, and you'd have to think a slightly disappointed Crazy Cat's Eyes finish with the bronze. A good round of applause for our finishers. Hazers on top, Thunderbolts still really happy with the silver medal. Crazy Cat's Eyes, they can't be too disappointed. They come away with the bronze. Hazers ecstatic. Thunderbolts going over to salute the fans who helped them to their first medal of the MarbleLympics. Savage Speeders still on top. Hazers jump 2 into 2nd place. Green Ducks and the Thunderbolts tied for 3rd as we move on to the slalom next. For the rest of the MarbleLympics committee, I'm Greg Woods. We'll see you next time. To find success in the last event, you had to walk a fine line, but now it's all about speed and precision. Welcome to the slalom event here in the MarbleLympics. I'm Greg Woods. 4 teams are going to be competing as you take a look at our overall standings. So far, one of those teams, the Savage Speeders, 2 gold medals, and it's been tough to catch them, even though they have not done super well in the previous event. They are in the blocks on the far side here, facing against the Raspberry Racers, Balls of Chaos, and the Oceanics. Remember, it's the 3rd marble that needs to cross the line for the time to count, and I think It will not be the Savage Speeders. You notice those who are already down there on the bottom. Those are some test marbles. They're waiting down there. Now watch the Raspberry Racers. 3 of them already done right there. Not bad at all. Same cannot be said, however, for the Oceanics. The top 2 marbles in each of these heats will advance. So the Savage Speeders do move on. They just did not win. Raspberry Racers setting the time. Midnight Wisps, Team Galactic, the Hazers, and the Jungle Jumpers. Hazers involved in that fantastic finish with the MarbleLympics record being set. Midnight Wisps doing a good job of teamwork so far. Now they get spread out just a little bit. Watch down there at the bottom. The Jungle Jumpers get their 3 across first, I do believe. Doesn't matter at the 4th. Let's see here. How close was it? 0.3 of a second. There the 3rd one comes across. And victory and advancement to the Jungle Jumpers. Midnight Wisps will also be moving on. No MarbleLympics record here for the Hazers. They are stuck in the first heat. Crazy Cat's Eyes, another one that set the record. First in the balancing event. Over the Lose Out, Chocolatiers, or Rangers, and the Green Ducks. Crazy Cat's Eye, 2 marbles ahead. Remember, it's got to be the 3rd marble, and I think that's going to do it for him. Crazy Cat's Eye is going to get across and take the win and advance to the next round. Green Ducks, pretty good effort down there on the bottom. They came awfully close, under half a second. They will advance as well. But Crazy Cat's Eyes, 8-1-8. Disappointing for the old Rangers in that heat too. Dead last amongst the 4. Mellow Yellow, Indigo Stars, the Pinkies, and the Thunderbolts. Indigo Stars, decent push. Narrow lead on the bottom, though. Who's going to get the 3rd marble across? That's going to be really tough to tell. I can tell you the Pinkies are last. And it is the Indigo Stars. 3 of them all bunched up there together, narrowly beating out Mellow Yellow. Does take teamwork. You don't have too many collisions amongst yourselves. That will slow you down. But just enough. You can catch the draft a little bit. Watch the line of the marble in front. And that makes all the difference. On to the semifinals now. Meanwhile, 9th through 16th, those spots are set. Another disappointing finish for the Oceanics. Raspberry Racers, Midnight Wisps, Crazy Cat's Eyes, and Mellow Yellow. Raspberry Racers with the early lead up there. The 3rd marble, though. Crazy Cat's Eyes, they fight back now. A division starts between the 1st and the 3rd marble. That's going to lose it out. Raspberry Racers should get the win. 0.3 of a second over Crazy Cat's Eye, and as that race developed, that teamwork started to fall apart between the 2nd and 3rd marble. That gap really grew, and then all of a sudden the 2nd marble dropped back from the 1st. It makes a big difference. Who's the rest on to the finals? Green Ducks, Jungle Jumpers, Indigo Stars, and the Savage Speeders. Green Ducks, 1 marble lead. Now they fall back. That teamwork also falling apart for them. Jungle Jumpers doing a pretty good job. They might just catch on to it, but the Green Ducks fought back up top with that 3rd marble. Here they come. Neck and neck. Green Ducks are going to get it. 0.02 of a second over the Jungle Jumpers. Now both of them will be on to the final. Top 2 will advance. So it's the Jungle Jumpers, the Green Ducks, the Raspberry Racers, and the Crazy Cat's Eyes. 1 will fail to medal. Jungle Jumpers up top, Green Ducks, Raspberry Racers, Crazy Cat's Eyes. Off they go. Green Ducks falling behind. Crazy Cat's Eye, they got 2 out in front. Where's the 3rd one? Raspberry Racers trying to hold on to it as well, and that's going to be very close. Who got gold? And it is the Crazy Cat's Eyes. Talk about redemption. After setting the MarbleLympics record in balancing thinking, they've got the gold wrapped up. All of a sudden, the next 2 teams come by and reset the MarbleLympics record, and what they thought was gold turns into bronze. Not so this time. It's gold all the way for the Crazy Cat's Eyes.
Congratulations to the Jungle Jumpers, Raspberry.
What an event that was. Quick, fast, and furious it was, but the Crazy Cat's Eyes, a great job to stand on the top step of the podium. And a great job for the Raspberry Racers and the Jungle Jumpers, who get silver and bronze respectively. Crazy Cat's Eye, their first gold of the MarbleLympics, catapults them up into 5th. In the meantime, the Savage Speeders and the Hazers are still out in front. Coming off the Crazy Cat's Eye's redemptive victory, we move now into a classic event, the insanely fast 5-meter sprint. The Savage Speeders still hold the top spot in the MarbleLympic standings. Can anybody dethrone them? Here inside of the resplendent 7C Stadium. Galactic, Green Ducks, Jungle Jumpers, who have the lead right now. Is anybody going to be able to catch them? Green Ducks, they take the lead. In fact, Jungle Jumpers falls all the way back to 3rd place. And we're being told it is a photo finish. Looks like a tie, Jungle Jumpers and Team Galactic, actually, for 2nd place. And we have to see the finish line cam if we have it. Here we go. Ooh, that is awfully blurry. I think maybe Team Galactic got it. Oh, that is so difficult to tell. 1,000th of a second. Team Galactic gets 2nd place and will move on out of the first heat. Savage Speeders, Indigo Stars, leading the way right now. MarbleYellow fights back. They're going to take the win in the 5-meter sprint in heat number 2. Great start by Indigo Stars. But right about here is where they start to lose out. They're maybe bumping into the walls just a little bit too much. Meanwhile, Savage Speeders can't get off the walls, and they fall all the way back. MarbleYellow made it to the final and also very close to the overall MarbleLympics record. They're a little bit more in the tank for the final. Hazers, Raspberry Racers, O'Rangers, and the Midnight Wisps. Midnight Wisps get out of the gate well. O'Rangers, big lead. Hazers on the far side. Can they challenge him? It's going to be close. This will also be a photo finish. Great start for the O'Rangers. Raspberry Racers dead even with the Hazers, and all of a sudden that speed starts to come on. Neck and neck across the line. We're going to need that camera again, and it will be the O'Rangers. 2 milliseconds is all. They will advance. Great job just getting that victory. Heat 4 of 4. Crazy Cat's Eyes, the Thunderbolts, the Chocolatiers, and the Oceanics. Chocolatiers out to a big lead. Oceanics try to fight back. They can't. Crazy Cat's Eye on the top. Later going to get the win. Or will they? Officially, this will be a photo finish. Another one. Look at how far behind Crazy Cat's Eyes are, and then they start clawing it back. Keeping it off the walls as best they can. They do not get the win. Wow, photo finishes for both 1st and 2nd, and 2nd and 3rd. 4,000ths of a second. The Crazy Cat's Eyes do not get the win. So there you see the bottom half of the order, 9th to 16th. Savage Speeders dead last. Could the tables be turning? Slightly. MarbleYellow, Chocolatiers, Team Galactic, and the Hazers. Everybody pretty darn even. Hazers trying to gain some ground. MarbleYellow out in front, and they're going to advance. Yellow and Smoggy are both going to get there, because it is the top 2 who make it to the final. Everybody all within a length of each other at this point. A little bit of a challenge from lane number 2 there on the top side. Lane 1 comes across. Watching in lane 4 as well. Who did get the win? If nothing else, just for pride. And it is Smoggy from the Hazers. Another race that came down to that 3rd decimal point. 1/1000th of a second. Semi-final B, Indigo Stars, O'Rangers, the Green Ducks, and the Crazy Cat's Eyes. Crazy Cat's Eye, big lead. Green Ducks right with them, though. Now Green Ducks take the lead. Can they hold on for 2nd? Yes, they can. Green Ducks are going to come across to win this heat and advance to the final, along with Crazy Cat's Eyes. A great 2nd half to that race, and the Green Ducks, Billy doing it. 6.107. 500ths ahead of 2nd place. 5th to 8th. You see them up there, Indigo Stars, Chocolatiers, Galactic, and the O'Rangers. But now, on to the final. The Green Ducks, the Hazers, Crazy Cat's Eye, and MarbleYellow. MarbleYellow with a slight lead. Crazy Cat's Eye in lane 3, bounding off the walls, trying to catch him. Now Hazers with a big lurch, but it will be MarbleYellow, keeping it mellow for gold. The led start to finish. Crazy Cat's Eye right with him, and then watch the speed scrub off, and it increased for the Hazers. Down they come, and Crazy Cat's Eye lucky to get a bronze out of that. Smoggy from the Hazers, 57 thousandths behind. The entire field separated by a 10th of a second. That's exactly what you expect from the 5-meter sprint. Breathless from start to finish. 25 points for Yellow. Hazers and the Crazy Cat's Eye rounding out the podium and receiving their medals. Congratulations to our competitors as we look at the crowd still. A buzz over everything. And with that finish, the Hazers are now catapulted to the top spot of the MarbleLympics standings in front of the Savage Speeders Green Ducks in third. Next up, the relay race. Until then, I'm Greg Woods. Be sure to subscribe for more, and we'll see you next time. So long, everyone. 7C Stadium is packed for one of the fastest events of the 2019 MarbleLympics, the relay race. Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Greg Woods. The Hazers taking over the top spot of the podium from the Savage Speeders. Will the latter be able to get back up on top in a speed event? Always interesting to see. Galactic, Oceanics, Green Ducks, and Balls of Chaos in the gate now. Off they go. Balls of Chaos to the lead. Green Ducks in second, and it stays that way through the second handoff, now into the third. Oceanics come back into second place, and a great handoff up top. Team Galactic's going to take it in front of the Green Ducks. The top two will advance, so both of those, it really doesn't matter who won, will move on, but look at the lead that Balls of Chaos got. How did they lose this? Dead last is Team Galactic. Now into third, into the last handoff, and just like that, up front. Kind of the same thing with the Green Ducks, a huge anchor leg. Oh, and did the Green Ducks actually get them at the line? I think they did. 2 thousandths of a second. Like I said, it doesn't matter a ton, more for bragging rights. Both will move on in the top two. Indigo Stars, Savage Speeders, Thunderbolts, and the O'Rangers. O'Rangers early lead with the Thunderbolts. Now Savage Speeders get it back through the second handoff. Still Savage Speeders. O'Rangers in second. Thunderbolts for the win. That last handoff has just been a deal breaker for some of these teams, or salvation for others. Savage Speeders, 1 length lead here. Decent handoff. It all went wrong here for them. That little skip in that final handoff, you saw none of that for the Thunderbolts. Instead, instantly back up to speed. We saw the lead there. Over a 10th of a second. Thunderbolts and the O'Rangers will move on. Midnight Wisps, Raspberry Racers, the Pinkies, and Mellow Yellow. Mellow Yellow quick out of the gate. Into the first handoff. Now they lose it out. 3 marbles fighting for it. Raspberry Racers take the lead. Pinkies in second, down at the finish line. And that's how they will stay. And that 3-way fight for second place. But a slow handoff in that bottom lane. Even slower for the Wisps up top. In fact, the Midnight Wisps are disqualified. They're going to say that they did that maybe on purpose to the Raspberry Racers. We're going to have to see another replay of that, but wow. That's big. Raspberry Racers still going to come down and win it. Oh, look at that. That's what happened. The starting block knocked out. Instead, the Raspberry Racers and the Pinkies, they'll move on regardless. Wow. Hazers, Crazy Cat's Eye, Chocolatiers, and the Jungle Jumpers. Chocolatiers in front. Crazy Cat's Eye through the first handoff, back into the lead, and they're keeping it there. Watch that bottom line, though. No, look up top instead. I think they got a challenge they weren't expecting, and that slowed them down. And instead, it will be the Jungle Jumpers. Jungle Jumpers dead even here after a terrible handoff by the Chocolatiers. They finally get it going again, but look at how far back they are. In the meantime, beautiful transitions, and the Jungle Jumpers skip their way across the line and will advance. Question is, who got second? It's very close up there, but I think even from that angle, we don't even have to go up top for it. It will be the Hazers. 95 thousandths of a second behind the Jungle Jumpers. Everybody running a pretty slow pace so far. There you see 9th through 16th, how it's been distributed. They will go no further. Shout out to our Patreons up in the stands. Everybody excited for the finals to begin. But we got to get the semis first. Pinkies, Hazers, O'Rangers. Green Ducks down on the bottom. Green Ducks, huge handoff. Wow! Green Ducks! Nobody's going to come close to him. The big battle is who is getting second. That is for sure a photo finish. I was just astounded. Look at this. They're even. And all of a sudden, nobody is in the same league as the Green Ducks. The Rangers have second place for now. Pinky's banging off the walls, but they get it together in the anchor leg. Oh, that is close. Pinkies or Rangers? Who you got? Oh, boy. Ugh. Officials coming together to discuss this. They're checking timing and scoring loops. The ultra slow-mo cameras. And it's a tie. Down to the 1,000th of a second. We are knotted. So they're going to have a race just between these two. O'Rangers and the Pinkies. Who goes to the final? O'Rangers quicker out of the gate. Better through the first handoff and the second. The O'Rangers never in question. In this race, a huge win by nearly 1 full second. All right, semi-final B, the Raspberry Racers, Thunderbolts, Team Galactic and the Jungle Jumpers, and Raspberry Racers are appealing. They're going to say it was a false start, and it was. They're going to re-rack them, so first time it's just a warning. Didn't see who made the false start. But we're back underway. Raspberry Racers in the lead. Good handoff down to the bottom. Team Galactic, great one on the anchor for the Thunderbolts to get them into the final. But nobody challenging the Raspberry Racers for the top spot in this race. I wonder if whoever made that twitch out of the gate caused all three of the marbles that did leave to expend a little bit more energy. Raspberry Racers smart to wait. They recognized the false start, and maybe they had a little bit more in the tank for the semi-final race here. All right, so we are on to the finals. Our top four have moved on. The Thunderbolts, the O'Rangers, the Green Ducks, and the Raspberry Racers for gold in the relay race. Raspberry Racers lead into the first handoff, but it's the O'Rangers coming out of it. Green Ducks in second. A big lead for those top two, but the Green Ducks are going to get them in the anchor leg. What a finish that was, the Green Ducks. This event suiting them perfectly. Neck and neck with the O'Rangers, who might think they have it because their lead is stretching, including in the second to last leg. But look at that beautiful handoff. Up they come and across the line. Those two, 44 thousandths of a second between them. And oh yeah, the Raspberry Racers hold on and get bronze. The Green Ducks. What an amazing finish to this relay race. A true team event where you can just go flat out as fast as you possibly can. And they're able to do it. Congratulations to our top finishers, and look at what this does in the overall standings. 9 points clear. The Green Ducks have the lead over the Hazers and the Raspberry Racers. As the MarbleLympics roll along, we reach event number 7, block pushing. Hello everybody, I'm Greg Woods. Could an upset be brewing? The Green Ducks, the newcomers, 9 points clear at the top of the standings over the Hazers and the Raspberry Racers as we get ready for this event slightly different than in 2017. Each team is going to push 2 times, 1 on each lane. There are no semifinals and finals. The blocks also a little bit lighter than they were the last time around for the safety of the competitors. Out of the blocks in the first of these events, the first heat, a great push, and that last little flourish pushes the block on the low side down past 67 thereabouts. Team Galactic and the Oceanics now switch lanes. Down they come again. Will it be a repeat? Ooh, not near as far, but a similar result. Team Galactic sets the early mark, gets the victory between the two of them, but it's where you're going to compare to the rest of the field. So you can see the best of the two, 67 flat. Oceanics sitting in second after a fairly disappointing start to the MarbleLympics for them. Pinkies and the Thunderbolts neck and neck as they hit the blocks. A little bit of spread from the Pinkies, and the Thunderbolts kept it together pretty well all the way. Look at the separation between the four. Except for the initial impact, they all stayed within maybe a quarter of a length from each other. Gives them the win of the two, but still not a very far distance. Second attempt, Thunderbolts need a good one here, and it's not going to happen. Did not even break 60. Pinkies do a better job that time of keeping everybody close together. Fairly consistent between them, just about 5 centimeters difference, but a 57.8 for the Thunderbolts puts them provisionally in second place. Balls of Chaos and Mellow Yellow. Heat 3A. Balls of Chaos can't keep it up. Mellow Yellow. They're going to get the win. Look at the spread between them up top compared to the bottom. A little bit tighter for Mellow Yellow. They're able to use that power more consistently. And a team that currently sits in 6th in the MarbleLympics standings has a pretty good push on the first try. Can they do it again on the second? You're trying to get beyond 60. That little flourish at the end pushes them past 65. Separation again between the second and third marbles for Balls of Chaos on the near side results in just a 52.1. The 65 one for Mellow Yellow, good enough, right now at least, for the silver medal. Midnight Wisps and the Crazy Cat's Eyes, the latter of whom in 5th in the standings. They really kept the speed up on that one. It'll be shy of 65 for the Crazy Cat's Eyes, who are the better of the two teams in this one. Midnight Wisps, they need something to happen in this second heat. No medals yet. 31 points compared to 90 for our leaders, the Green Ducks. Can the Midnight Wisps put it together here? Down they come, and that's a much better push. Past 65, nearly up to 70. Let's see where it ends up for them. Great job by the final marble there. And the Midnight Wisps have moved into first place. Fear the night indeed. Well, they haven't had many reasons to be feared so far, but here in block pushing, they sit at the top of the table for now. Savage Speeders and the Jungle Jumpers, a team that was on top of the standings. What can they do here? That's not a bad push. Above 60 where you have to be. Jungle Jumpers in the meantime in the middle of the pack, but this push is going to put them toward the bottom unless they can do better in the second one. Switch lanes, back up top. 8 comes up, and the Jungle Jumpers eager to get into the blocks first. Savage Speeders, not near as good as what they just did, so they will not be fighting for a medal. They're good enough only for 5th. Jungle Jumpers, barely inside the top 10. Getting down here in Heat 6A, the Orangers and the Green Ducks, our championship leaders. What can they do with a good push? Pretty even between them. Both around that 60 mark. Not good enough for a medal. And look at that, the Green Ducks hit with such force, they actually lifted the block out of the track. That might have actually hurt them a little bit. If you can keep the momentum and the power forward rather than vertically, you're going to get more distance. Rangers, first to hit the block this time. They push it past 63, it looked like, maybe to 64. Green Ducks couldn't quite get it together. They sit in 7th. The Orangers just shy of the podium. Working our way through these heats. Of the 16 teams, we're down into the final couple of heats. Raspberry Racers and the Chocolatiers. Raspberry Racers in 3rd in the MarbleLympics standings, and that gets them very near to 65. That'll be close. Gives them something to build off of. You also have to try to figure out what the strategy is for something like this. Knowing that you're going to have to go 2 times, you have to figure out, is there a lane advantage, first off? And if there isn't, do you want to expend a lot of energy in one of the 2 heats, first or second? What do you have left in the tank for the second one? And, well, neither of these teams have that much. Puts them kind of middle of the order. 4th and 10th. Worse for the Chocolatiers, even though they had a pretty good push there, 58. Not past the 60-plus that we had in the first one. Now, Heat 8A, the Indigo Stars and the Hazers. Up top, Indigo Stars, good push. But then it kind of fizzles out. Look at the speed out of the gate. I know they're not thinking this is a speed event per se, but knocked them so far apart in between marbles 3 and 4 in that one, they just lost all of the power. Hazers kind of never had it. Try this again. Hazers, Indigo Stars. Can anybody knock any of the podium finishers off? That's a no. And that means the Midnight Wisps have won block pushing gold. Indigo Stars on the near lane. They knew the number that they needed, but just not together like they needed to be. 59-7, only good enough for 9th. The Hazers, dead last. A team that was second in the MarbleLympics standings coming into this one. It's going to hurt them. They've got a gold, silver, and a bronze, but here, they get nothing. 0 points for the Hazers, 25 for the Midnight Wisps, who have won gold in block pushing. Congratulations to our podium finishers, the Wisps, Team Galactic, and Mellow Yellow. Looking up top, the Green Ducks hold their lead. Raspberry Racers jump up into second. Hazers, a big 0. That knocks them down. Event number 8 of the 2019 MarbleLympics, the first outdoor event of these games. We welcome you. I'm Greg Woods. Fans inside the stadium excited for this, although since it is outdoors, those in the 7C stadium are just going to have to watch on the big screen. There you see 4 different groups. What was a triathlon whittled down to a biathlon, in part because of dangerous conditions out in the water. So we start off here with the Jungle Jumpers, Balls of Chaos, the Green Ducks, and the Hazers. Hazers take the early lead through the S's to get things started here, banging off the walls. It's not going to hurt you too much. You just don't want to catapult over those walls and be out of this race. But the Green Ducks takes to this event like a duck to water, perhaps? Maybe that was a little too much, I don't know. Jungle Jumpers have jumped to the lead. Balls of Chaos now trying to make a charge, but they both lose out to the Hazers. Up front they are. Slow down, that lets Balls of Chaos up in front, and they have a huge lead and are going to cross the line first in front of the Jungle Jumpers and the Hazers. Green Ducks, a disappointing 2 seconds plus off the pace. Remember, it is the top 2 out of each of these groups that will advance, by the way. Jungle Jumpers fans pretty happy with that showing. And why not? Savage Speeders, Indigo Stars, Team Galactics, and the hosts, the Oceanics, who desperately need a good finish in one of these events. A lot of fans starting to murmur a little bit. Did they put too much effort into the hosting and not enough for preparing? Well, right now they're running in second place. They lose out to the Savage Speeders. They need a good one here, especially since it formerly was a water event. You'd think they'd take to it. Savage Speeders trying to track down the Indigo Stars. Fake to the left, now move to the right, take the lead. Here come the Oceanics by them both. Up into first. Oceanics, several lengths in front of the Savage Speeders. Watch on the outside. They lose out, but they try to get it right back. Can they hold second place? Yes, they will. Team Galactic will get the win by nearly 0.4 of a second. There you go. Okay. It's a start. A little bit of Tide Pride building up there. Maybe. They're hopeful. All right, Raspberry Racers, the Thunderbolts, Midnight Wisps, and the Crazy Cat's Eyes. A desperately slow start out of the gate. Raspberry Racers in front. Crazy Cat's Eye in second, bouncing back and forth with the Thunderbolts, who get by them as they exit the ramp. And the Thunderbolts, briefly in the draft of the Raspberry Racers, try to get up there into first. They follow them along. Lockstep, a brief glance off the wall, gets them into first. And the Thunderbolts have clear track ahead of them. Pace slowing down. Crazy Cat's Eyes falling way back. Not going to get close to the Thunderbolts and the Raspberry Racers. And Wispy, apparently the Midnight Wisps, they're appealing because they got a bad push from the gate. But I don't think anything's going to come of that. I think it's just a little bit of sour grapes. Pinkies, Mellow Yellow. Rangers and the Chocolatiers. We move on anyway. Rangers. Good lead. Everybody following about the same line. Nobody really changing things up here. Ooh, nearly a challenge for the lead, but the Rangers fend it off. Mellow Yellow stuck back there in second. Chocolatiers trying to avoid being dead last. Good move through there up into second place, and the gap coming down all the time to the Rangers. Are they going to get there? Just barely. The Rangers hold on. 0.04 of a second. That was close. By the way, as an update coming from the stewards, they have looked at the replays of the Midnight Wisps incident, and apparently it was an equipment failure that caused their bad start, so they have given them 2 extra consolation points because of it. All right, semifinals, Thunderbolts, Galactic, Chocolatiers, and Chaos. And it is the latter of the 4 who lead. Chocolatiers trying to set them up, but they're having to watch behind them, too. Any challenge behind is going to allow Balls of Chaos to get out there a little bit farther, but now they all come together, all four of them, and Chocolatiers breeze past. With the Balls of Chaos having them, a huge burst of speed and a lead change. Team Galactic all the way across the line, unchallenged. Team Galactic. The Chocolatiers are going to come across 1.26 back. Look at that, nobody else in the picture. Maybe you for the top two. Third place, oh, there we go. Team Galactic. Feeling pretty good about that one. I don't know if they were saving them up in those quarterfinals. The Rangers, Jungle Jumpers, the Oceanics, and the Raspberry Racers. And in that first race, it was early. Now is when it starts to get a little bit more serious for the Oceanics. A good finish early on doesn't mean much if you do not advance. Right now they sit in third. A little bit of contact there from the Jungle Jumpers that actually catapulted them to the front. Oceanics needed to get by into second place, but the Raspberry Racers have a great burst of speed to take the lead from them, and Oceanics fall all the way back to fourth. Running out of time to advance, they're not going to. Raspberry Racers come across along with the Jungle Jumpers, the O-Rangers, out with the Oceanics as well. So 5th through 8th is set. The question is, what will the order be up front? Who will claim gold, silver, and bronze? Now for the final, the Raspberry Racers, the Jungle Jumpers, Team Galactic, and the Chocolatiers. Jungle Jumpers out of the gate first, leading through the S's. Now hard right-hander. They try to keep it off the wall as best they can. Second set of S's. Galactic move up into second place. Off the ramp, they set themselves up for the sand portion and move to the lead. Top three separated by just a few lengths. Now Jungle Jumpers take their turn. Back up in front, Chocolatiers. They want to have a go. Meanwhile in back, Raspberry Racers. They get in front for third place, but down below. Finish line in sight. Who's going to get it? That's close. That is very close. Jungle Jumpers and the Chocolatiers. Oh my. Did the Jungle Jumpers just jump ahead by 0.03 of a second? Yes, they have. The Jungle Jumpers have claimed gold by slimmest of margins. Chocolatiers and the Raspberry Racers finishing out the podium, collecting their medals. Congratulations to them. What an event. Shortened from a triathlon, yes, but with enough excitement for all three events, I'd say. Award ceremony taking place back in 7Seas Stadium. The Raspberry Racers, with that third place, have now moved 2 points clear of the Green Ducks. Team Galactic jumped 4 up into third. The finish line not quite in sight. Plenty of MarbleLympics to come. Be sure to subscribe for more. Coming down the home stretch, event number 9 of the 2019 MarbleLympics, the hurdles race. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. The Raspberry Racers have overtaken the Green Ducks at the top of the standings, but only by 2 points. The 4 teams right behind them only separated by another 2 points. It is anybody's game at this point. We move from outside back into the stadium for the 5-meter hurdles race. Heats where the top 2 will advance: Chocolatiers, Thunderbolts, Balls of Chaos, and the Raspberry Racers, the championship leaders, and they're the ones who get out of the gate best. Not having any difficulty with the hurdles so far. Looks like the Chocolatiers are going to take second place. Both of those 2 will advance. Balls of Chaos and the Thunderbolts, not so much. Raspberry Racers, is this their chance to assert their dominance on the standings of the MarbleLympics? It's a 2-point lead, so they got to go a little bit farther from here. Crazy Cat's Eye, Hazers, Jungle Jumpers, the Oceanics. Oceanics out to a lead, but now everybody catches up with them. Hazers, they shuffle to the lead, trying to fend off the Crazy Cat's Eye and the Jungle Jumpers. They will, but who got second? And it will be the Jungle Jumpers. By about a quarter of a length, not much at all, 200ths in it, and they will advance. Sometimes that's just a matter of 1 or 2 hurdles that can make all the difference in the world. Got to be consistent throughout. The Savage Speeders, Mellow Yellow, Indigo Stars, Midnight Wisps. Out they come. Midnight Wisps, quick lead through the first few hurdles. They're holding on to it. Indigo Stars on the bottom, now losing out. Mellow Yellow in second place through the final hurdle. That's where they'll stay. And the Midnight Wisps will also advance with them. Getting a little bit out of sorts toward the bottom of the course there. Yellow bounding off the barriers of their lane. You want to try to avoid that because you don't want to be moving laterally. You want to be moving forward down the track. It is difficult. Final heat. Green Ducks, Team Galactic, the Pinkies, and the O'Rangers. Long hold in the gate. Down they go. O'Rangers, early lead, and it's building. Up top, Green Ducks, holding on to second place. They're watching over their shoulder, but nothing in terms of a challenge for the O'Rangers. And they have just set a new MarbleLympics record. Beating the old one by the Savage Speeders, the O'Rangers. It's only the heats. They got to be feeling pretty good with that. 9th through 16th, they are set. Still a lot to play for up top, though, for the O'Rangers. Hopefully they haven't. Well, what is this? A marble from the stands has gotten onto the track and is being chased down to the bottom by 2 security guards. He gets across the line, and I don't know. He wasn't super fast, but he got a head start on him. These security guards, pretty good shape. No damage to the equipment, no marbles are affected, but I'm afraid that streaker is going to be banned from the stadium after this. Well, hey, on a lighter note, don't forget to be awesome. Go to our web shop. You can purchase t-shirts, hoodies, and team decals. New items will be added soon. All right, everybody calm and back down. Still some laughs out of that. The Midnight Wisps, Raspberry Racers, the Green Ducks, and the Jungle Jumpers. 2 will move on to the finals. It is the Green Ducks. Now they lose out. Midnight Wisps up top, stretching the lead. Raspberry Racers going to hold on to second place, and that's how they'll finish. And look at this. The Midnight Wisps have just reset the MarbleLympics record. Knocked down another 10th. It's going to be one of those events, isn't it? The stakes get higher, the performances get better. Mellow Yellow, O'Rangers, the Hazers, and the Chocolatiers from far to near. Out they come. Hazers, barely in the lead. Holding on to it, having some trouble. Now they fall back to second, and now third. O'Rangers up top. Looks like they're going to get it. The Hazers with a bit of a flourish down at the bottom. I think they may have pipped them for second place. Let's see. Look at the speed closing up. Yes, they did. The Hazers, near disaster, are able to put it back together and advance. Meanwhile, 5th through 8th, they go no further. All to play for here in the final. Raspberry Racers, the Midnight Wisps, the O'Rangers, and the Hazers. Who will take gold in the 5-meter hurdle? Down they come. Hazers to the lead. O'Rangers had second place. Now they fall back. Raspberry Racers, they take the lead. They're going to be challenged on lane 3 by the Midnight Wisps, and I think the Wisps may have just gotten past them. Yes, they did. 13 thousandths of a second. The stadium clock just struck midnight. The Midnight Wisps are your gold medalists. In the 5-meter hurdles, the Raspberry Racers take silver, and the Hazers take bronze. As they get the podium out onto the track, the Midnight Wisps coach, Wispy, congratulating Wispy for a clutch performance. They're happy. You can tell the coach is happy, too. That's what you want to see. All of that practice, all of that effort, turning into results, and a gold medal at that. Midnight Wisps going over, saluting the fans. Now that moves them up to 8th in the MarbleLympics standings. That's a 4-place jump. Meanwhile, the top 2 stay the same. The Hazers now into 3rd. Event 10 of the 2019 MarbleLympics, the Maze. Hey everyone, I'm Greg Woods. Similar to the Amazing Maze tournament, we take a look at our standings so far. The Raspberry Racers sitting on top, 122. A decent gap clear down to the Green Ducks in 2nd. For this event, you will have several teams traversing the maze at the same time. The farther down you get, the more points you get. 20 points to those who finish. You get stuck up on the top there, and it looks like a couple have, possibly the Raspberry Racers. Then you get 0. There are also going to be a couple of ball bearings that you will see coming down the course to sweep any stuck marbles out of the way and get them going once again. You can see the numbers down there on the bottom corresponding to the points that you get. And this is an all-out brawl. If you were expecting a lot of craziness in this event, I think you're going to get it. The Savage Speeders look to be setting themselves up to finish with 1 marble. Like I said, 4 teams per heat. And it all comes down to not necessarily who finishes first, but how many get down there in the end? So far, the Savage Speeder's doing a pretty good job at that, and they look like they may actually get at least 3 of their marbles. One of them stalling up there in 14, now advances down into 15. These marbles can't see too much when they're in the maze, so they got to be careful. Taking their time, slow as can be. So the score, the way this is going to work, is going to be the combination of 5 of the marbles per team. So it's not just the 4. We have the alternate in there as well. As you can see, Thunderbolts have one stuck in the 14. Balls of Chaos still working their way down. That was a ball bearing that just crashed on through into the 16. Can they get themselves down into the bottom for 20 full points? Yes, they will. And that appears as far as we'll go. So you can see several marbles stuck throughout the course. The Savage Speeders are going to combine for 88 points. 4 finishers, same with the Balls of Chaos, and they will advance. All right, you kind of getting the hang of this? I hope so. Down they come, and especially early on here, look at just the log jam that you get. It's a traffic jam, shouldering back and forth, nudging each other, pushing different marbles. It's kind of a free-for-all, and I think this is a good event because this late into the MarbleLympics, there's a lot of pent-up frustration. And obviously, we don't want to encourage outright violence, but I can see this being therapeutic to some of these teams. Now, the Orangers are setting themselves up pretty well so far here. They've got 3 marbles past the 13 mark, looking to add another. One still stuck back in the 10, section 2. Down they come, Galactic. Looks like they've got a couple that are poised up there in the 9. And they aren't going anywhere fast. Orangers, they're going to have 1 non-finisher at least in the 10. As another one of theirs down at the bottom in 16. Can it find its way down into that bottom chute? Yes. Looks like we're going to have a lot more non-finishers in this heat than in the first. But with 3 finishers for the Orangers, make that 4 actually. That's going to be a 90-point haul. Domination even over the second place Mellow Yellow. The Wisps, the Green Ducks, the Oceanics, and the Jungle Jumpers. Ball bearing releases them and down they come. Looks like everybody got out of the starting platform at least. And look at this, a huge line. The ball bearing nudges a couple of them away. Otherwise, you would have had 5 or 6 marbles stuck up at the top. Now there's a trio back in the 4 section. Look at that blue off to the left side of the screen. 3 marbles stuck side by side by side, and then you got 4 down there. It's almost a dead end against that Hubelino block. Very interesting, the strategy on this one to decide how quickly do you want to get going, knowing that one simple nudge in the wrong direction, if you carry too much momentum, could push you down a dead end and get you caught somewhere up the course. How carefully do you weave your way? And look at this. 3 marbles. That's it. 2 Green Ducks and 1 Oceanic. The rest, 0. So hey, that means the Oceanics are moving on and are guaranteed points. They've got to be really happy about that after a pretty dismal start to this MarbleLympics. Again, it's not necessarily where you finish in the heats, though. You've got to do well in the final. Points guaranteed, nonetheless. Hazers, they are organizing a pretty good launch down there. Look at all of the Hazers down in the bottom part of this course. They're going to be tough to beat if all of them continue to make their way down, and so far things are looking pretty good for them. Lazy Cat's Eyes, they're also fighting down there. They've got a couple of marbles. I noticed 2 of them stuck farther up the course, just off screen right now, and here we start to get some finishers, much more than the 3 that we had in the previous heat. A little bit of argy-bargy down there. Look at that quartet of marbles stuck up there. One of those actually might have been the ball bearing. So a trio of marbles, but a fairly clear course otherwise. Just looking at the inset at the top of the screen, there might have been some in the upper starting gate. But this is a thinking event. This is not so much a brute force or high athletic skill. It's a lot of strategy mixed in. As the camera pans up top, there's the trio that are stuck. Anybody else up there? There's another. Wow, we've got a few. And another trio up top, too. But moving on, it will be the Hazers and the Pinkies. Chocolatiers and Crazy Cat's Eyes, they will go no further. As you can see, they're relegated from 9th through 15th. That tie for 15th, in case you're wondering why there weren't 16, of course. Well, hey, on a lighter note, don't forget to be awesome. Go to our web shop. You can purchase t-shirts, hoodies, and team decals. New items will be added soon. A little bit of a disappointment for the Crazy Cat's Eyes, I might say, up there in 5th in the MarbleLympics standings. Mellow Yellow, the Pinkies, the Green Ducks, and the Savage Speeders. All of those are in the top part of the standings, except for the Pinkies. They sit dead last in the MarbleLympics standings. They are tied with the Oceanics, but that tie will be broken, depending on where they finish here. Savage Speeders working on that high line. And a lot of marbles caught higher up on the course. I don't know that we're going to get a ton of finishers on this one. Looks like the Pinkies and the Savage Speeders, they're getting right down there to the end. Can either of them get through that gate? There go the Pinkies and the Savage Speeders. They're being brought up back behind. Green Ducks navigating their way around. Mellow Yellow. Looks like they're going to get a finisher. And that stalls the Green Ducks down in that 16 range. These last two marbles, they're both going to opt for the high line so they don't dislodge it. That keeps their points haul a little bit safer. Smart decisions there. And it's the Pinkies and the Savage Speeders tied at 46 that will advance past semifinal A. Perhaps that one little nudge making all the difference. Semifinal B. Rangers, Oceanics, Balls of Chaos, and the Hazers. Can the Oceanics continue their climb out of the bottom of the standings? They got to get through that logjam up top. Half a dozen marbles already stalled up there. What can the ball bearing dislodge? Maybe one of the Hazers at most. Another one of the ball bearings released. Rangers down there toward the bottom. Now a good run by the Hazers. They've got two past the 12 mark. Oceanics trying to close that up as well. It's taken them a little longer on the upper end of this course, but the good thing is most of them are still in motion. One of the O-Rangers stuck up there in the blue 4 section, and now another one caught up behind that ramp in number 8. Looks like that's going to claim 3 marbles just in that one part alone, and are we going to get another logjam? No, a little nudge there. Thank goodness, gets everybody going again, well, briefly. One of those is a ball bearing, of course. The other benefactor is an O-Ranger. Down here on the bottom of the course, we've got a good handful of finishers so far. Oceanics, they might get 3 out of this. From what I see, that's going to tie them. Well, that should be O-Rangers. All right, they've got another one. Unless it gets stuck here. Oh, and it will get stuck. Ball bearing not going to be of any help. The O-Rangers 1 part short. They stop in the 16, so what does the math work out to? The Oceanics are moving on, along with the Hazers. First time this season, the Oceanics will be in a final. Balls of Chaos or Rangers, they fall short. Mellow Yellow, same thing. They were in 4th in the standings. Meanwhile, Pinkies and Oceanics, 2 of the teams that are in dead last. No medals between them. Well, one of them is probably going to be guaranteed a medal here. Question is, which is it? The Oceanics have 2 working their way down the course. A lot of different pathways rocking back and forth. I see the Savage Speeders have one stuck higher up along with the Pinkies. Let's see if that comes back to bite them. Meanwhile, Pinkies doing a pretty good job farther down the course. Hazers as well. They're taking the high line, middle line, and low line. Savage Speeders, looks like they may have 2 finishers down here, or they get nudged away by the Hazers, but they still manage to get them in. Pinkies, they have a pretty good swarm at the end. Watch those ones up top. Savage Speeders, ooh, dodge there. The Hazers also get a couple in. And gonna add another one. Yes, here come the Pinkies as well. Hazers still have 1 moving. Oceanics caught up there in 14. If you got your calculator or your abacus or whatever you're using, because this is going to take some number crunching. Who gets gold in the maze event? Add it all together as we pan our way up the course. A difficult one. And it's the Hazers. The Oceanics missed the podium. Oh my goodness. As close as can be, they still get 12 points off of it, but it's the Hazers the Pinkies, and the Savage Speeders, who come away with the precious hardware in the Maze event of the MarbleLympics. Hazers up there in third to begin with. They move up one now to second. Raspberry Racers holding on, and even though they got silver in this event, the Pinkies are still dead last. Next up is the Dirt Race. Thank you for watching. Event number 11 of the 2019 MarbleLympics takes us into the wilderness. Hello everybody, I'm Greg Woods. There you see our current standings. Raspberry Racers leading the way, 2 points clear of the Hazers. The Green Ducks fall back to third place. Think of this kind of as trail running, if you will. Similar to the sand races, but a lot of obstacles waiting for these marbles. If they do get caught, points will be awarded based on how far down the course they get. The Rangers quick out of the gate, then they immediately get swallowed up. Team Galactic also out there. And this Team Galactic way out in front. Running back and forth, Mellow Yellow, they're going to challenge for the lead. They go right over one of the barriers and they're going to get stuck. The Green Ducks were also up in a second as I said that. They get passed by, oh, and there goes Team Galactic. Team Galactic also out of this race. That's two in a matter of a few seconds. Raspberry Racers keeping it in the track. Trying to hold on, and their lead appears to be pretty substantial, even though they're having a little difficulty with some of the obstacles. Nobody else on the screen. So we wait. Where's everybody else? There we get a look. That is the Green Ducks. Ducky and Jungle Jumpers also closing back in with Jump. Neck and neck they are. Jungle Jumpers shove them to the left, now move to the right. They get caught up on the wall, and the Green Ducks retake the place. Several lengths clear now. Is that the one challenge that the Jungle Jumpers had to try to get second place? They are losing ground. Inset up at the top of your screen, there's the finish line. And the Raspberry Racers, can they get it across? Yes, they can. 1:13.7. What is the gap farther back? There comes Ducky across. Jungle Jumpers should be next. Farther back behind, and we get a pass. Oh, nearly a pass down at the line, and a good response by Shore from the Oceanics. Would have lost the place, but instead, they are off to the final. Oceanics still in desperate need of points, sitting in 15th in the MarbleLympics standings. And there you see some of the did not finishes. The Rangers, Team Galactic, and Mellow Yellow. There's the first one up top there, going right over that stick and then getting caught at a pinch point. And then watch to the right of your screen, veering off to the right suddenly. There goes Team Galactic. Dare I say some marbles got a little bit too antsy in that last race. Race B, next 8 in the blocks, top 4 will advance. And down they go. On a lot of jostling for positions. Oh, and one get caught already. I think that was the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts are out on that low side again. They veered off to the right just like Team Galactic did, except earlier up on the course. Chocolatiers, nearly getting caught up as well in pursuit of first place. Oh, and they almost had it. Instead, they run square into the back of the Pinkies. Now Pinkies retake the lead. Briefly, the Chocolatiers had it. Now they fall back. Indigo Stars, I think that is, running in third. Pinkies now off the screen. Chocolatiers seesawing back and forth off the wall, clear to the other side. A big run now coming. I think that might be the Hazers. Crazy Cat's Eyes also in there, with Yellow Eye farther back. Pinkies and Indigo Stars stretching the lead. Chocolatiers trying to keep things going. There's the Indigo Stars. And there's the Pinkies off to the right. It's going to be a pretty easy race for them if they can keep going. They slow to a crawl. Pinkies, they got to pick it up. Get down to the finish line if they can. Indigo Stars in second place. Chocolatiers come in to try to take it away from them. They bump off the back of them, move to the left, and come to a stop. The Chocolatiers are caught. The Chocolatiers will not advance. Oh my goodness, instead, the captain of the Indigo Stars fends them off, gets across the line, and in doing so, gets the Chocolatiers caught on the course. They will not move on. Oh my goodness. Crazy Cat's Eyes also did not finish. Midnight Wisps and the Thunderbolts. This one taking no prisoners in the dirt race. There you see 9th to 16th. These marbles will go no further. Setting up earlier on, the Pinkies fell behind briefly, then leapt to the lead. Now we won't get a look at that last little finish line spurt where the Chocolatiers got caught, but you do see the track and all that they will have to navigate. All right, the final. In the gate and ready to go. Down they come. Jungle Jumpers moving up to the lead and then immediately lose out. Raspberry Racers blasts by them. Same with the Savage Speeders up in first. Hazers now with a big bunch of speed, and the Speeders block them, only to catapult off to the left side of the course, and they're going to be caught. The Indigo Stars and the Oceanics are also out of this race, and apparently we're hearing from timing and scoring that Swiftly for the Savage Speeders has gotten going again, partly because of the impacts behind and the other two marbles that got stalled out, and now the leader is caught. Just like that, the Raspberry Racers are up to the lead. Can they keep things going? They nearly came to a stop too, everything changing nearly by the obstacle. A bit of a shoulder there, and the Green Ducks take over the lead, only to lose it again. Raspberry Racers trying to fight for gold, and then they get fended off back into second place, and they may now lose back to third. All the way from third to first, it's the Savage Speeders. They were nearly out of this race, the Green Ducks. Oh, and look at this. Pinky Toe coming with a lot of speed. Out to the outside, into the inside. Savage Speeders block them. Several length lead. Savage Speeders trying to stay off the wall, and they're not going to do it. The Pinkies up to the lead with the finish line in sight. Can they hold on? Yes, they will. And the Green Ducks are going to come across with the silver. And that's the first gold ever for the Pinkies. Rozzy from the Raspberry Racers also getting across. You see Jump from the Jungle Jumpers, the last one to cross line. Look at how close that was. The Raspberry Racers take third by 0.05 of a second, but it's Pinky Toe and the Pinkies who are celebrating this time. Look at how this transpired. The Savage Speeders off to the top. We get somebody caught down on the low side, but look at that bump that gets the Savage Speeders going again. The Raspberry Racers nearly careened off the course there too, getting high-sided on an obstacle and nearly came flying out. There's the Hazers when they got stuck. Back and forth they came. My goodness, the Pinkies take the gold and 25 points.
The Pinkies.
Unbelievable how that transpired. Green Ducks get the silver and the Raspberry Racers with the bronze. Pinky power indeed. That lifts them up. 13th place, a jump of 3. The Raspberry Racers still holding on to first place. The Oceanics would not be a great host team if they did not include another water event. This time, rafting. A difficult course all the way down. You need to reach the end, and if you don't, every marble that comes out is a penalty. Here you see our overall standings and the starting order as they will head down the course. 35.66. The MarbleLympics record that has been determined. The course, by the way, may look pretty nasty, but it is safe. There are lifeguards ready to go, and the Oceanics will be first into the water. Down they come in a good tail whip to get things going again, but now they turn to the side and they've rotated all the way around. Good thing with marbles being completely round is that you can do that. Trying to keep it off the walls. You don't want that tail fishing back and forth as they navigate the rapids here. You don't want to get caught also, and they nearly do as they come over that next waterfall. This time's not going to be the quickest for them if they keep bouncing into the walls. There they get it situated right. And a little splash gets the team members wet. That's okay. Ooh, they nearly go sideways and get caught perpendicular, but they make it across the line. No penalty. 39.11. Our first time. There you can see where they almost got caught one of several times. Not what they wanted. Indigo Stars next in the gate. Down they come and they enter the water. They turn and they get caught. They get caught right at the waterfall. They are allowed to restart. You get 3 attempts to make it down the course. Second time, oh, they nearly get caught again, but they managed to get it going. Unfortunately, working their way sideways down the course is not going to be super helpful. The more you can keep it pointing forward and back, the better. Now they get it situated. This is a much better part of the run now. Look at the speed increasing. Keeping it straight down that waterfall, and they immediately pick right back up. Oh, now they turn sideways, a couple of bumps with the shores, and they slow to a crawl with the finish line inside. Across they come, and it's 37.92. That's quicker. And they move into first place. Balls of Chaos now. Third up, they've seen a couple of these attempts, and that's not the way to do it. Can they get it situated after the first waterfall? Well, it seems like they are. This raft works much better when you are moving down the course rather than pitched sideways. Now they're having some of the same issues that the Oceanics did on their first run. They just cannot seem to work as a team and get that boat moving straight. Now they slow down again, pick up on the water, and get that speed built up just in time to come across the line. 37.58, and they're into first. Not bad at all. Pinkies chasing a 37.58. Their black raft pitches through the first waterfall and comes at an angle down this stretch. Now they move sideways. Several times they're spinning this boat around. I think ideally they want to have one end more than the other up front, and they had a moment where it looked like they were going to have to do the whole course backwards, and they got it back going again. Though when as I say that, it's flipped around, but actually that's working better for them. Speed building for the Pinkies. Next waterfall, the members getting drenched. This is where a lot of the rafts have slowed down. Now they pick it up again, and that was a great run, but it's just short. 37.80 for the Pinkies. 22 hundredths off the Balls of Chaos, leading time. Oh, nearly getting stuck on that one. That first waterfall has proved very difficult for a lot of these marbles. Oh, they briefly get hung up on the second one there. That was almost like they got caught on a rock. Got to get things going a little bit smoother here, and that was a good burst of speed. Very twitchy looking raft. Oh, and two of the members come out. The Thunderbolts are down to 2 marbles in the raft. So that means 2 penalty seconds added to their time as they come across. That is over 40. And with 2 penalty seconds, 42.53. Thankfully, Shock and Lightning over on the shore. They are tended to safely. That's what you want out of an event like this. Good safety personnel ready to jump in and make sure the marbles are okay. Shock the Tears. Building up speed, keeping it off the walls decently well. Raft is not the straightest that we've seen, but kept their speed going. Now they turn sideways. Ooh. Do a 180. Something tells me that's not exactly for show. Good speed in between those 2 waterfalls. Now they slow down a little bit, briefly get caught up on that vegetation. Losing a lot of time through here. And across, 39.70. Behind the Oceanics. It's the second slowest time, rather. Oceanics just ahead of them, 39.11, 42.53 from the Thunderbolts, still our slowest. This is some pretty good navigation through here. Ooh, as I say that, the nose and the tail both get caught up on the masonry. Now they got it situated back again. Down the middle of the rapids, trying to keep it off the walls as best they can, and this is some good speed. Can they keep it through the slow part of the course? Actually, they do. 34, 35, it's going to be close. 36.06. That is a great time. Very close to the records. And that is the fastest time so far. Oh, Rangers in the black raft. I think that'll make some good contrast as they're in there. It's all about the fans, I guess. Now they found the rhythm. And they keep it going out of that waterfall. Ooh, they get caught up just a little bit. You can hear that raft banging against the stones, but doing a decent job here of keeping it going. Now they ride those waves for a good burst of speed. Through the last waterfall. Also able to keep it going. They turn sideways briefly. They get caught up on the vegetation and it all goes away from them. Oh, what could have been a really good time is instead going to mire the Rangers in the middle of the pack. 39.69 the time. No penalties. Well, hey, on a lighter note, don't forget to be awesome. Go to our web shop. You can purchase t-shirts, hoodies, and team decals. New items will be added soon. Only good enough? tentatively for 6th. Thunderbolts, the only team to lose any members. Thankfully, they were both okay. But those 2 penalty seconds, not going to help. Jungle Jumpers, onto the course. Bad landing after the first waterfall. 2 of them are in the water. That'll cut down on weight, but it will add 2 seconds to their total. That is, if those 2 that are in there stay in there. Not the kind of start that the Jungle Jumpers anticipated. A jarring exit from the waterfall, and the final one coming up. They're really picking up speed through here. Can they keep it going? Off the walls. They lose a lot of time through here. 41.61. Their official time, tentatively, good enough for 8. Skip and jump are safe up there in the grass. I don't know if you saw them. Team Galactic. Silver on white, and down they come. A little bit of an angle into the first waterfall, but they're able to correct. Now they spin it around 180. Are they trying to correct it and get going back the other way? I'm not really sure. Can't lose too much time doing that. Sometimes you just have to fight through it, even though that's not how you planned the run. But that is why these marbles train so much. Every inevitability. Good burst of speed through here. Team Galactic. Past the 30-second mark. Oh, they're caught up in the vegetation just enough. That's going to lose them a few lengths. Across they come. 37.24. Wow. Good enough provisionally for 2nd place, even though they got caught up on the vegetation. Crazy cat's eye with red eye in the front. Not the quickest part of the course, but they decided to make it a little bit slower by reversing. And again. All 4 of them still in it? I think they are. Yes, they are. You got to pick it up a little bit now. After this final waterfall, remember, you got to watch the greenery. You got to judge speed and positioning. Keep to the right, and they kind of do. Can they get a little speed built up across the line? They will, but 37.97 is only good enough for 6th. 12 of 16, mellow yellow. Going with the O'Rangers' logic, let's stand out a little bit more on the black raft. Successfully through the first waterfall. Down to the 2nd. Good job of getting that raft just at the last moment back to straight. They lose it a little bit through the rapids after the 2nd waterfall, preparing for the 3rd. When they switch it around again. Good speed, though. They're doing a great job navigating this 3rd part. Final waterfall, can they keep it to the right? Oh, they lose 2! They lose 2 members. They do get by the greenery. And can they get it across the line? No, it's slowing. It's all coming undone for mellow yellow. Mellow yellow, 40-21. Good enough for 10th. Everybody out safely. Look at that, a jarring hit. It wasn't riding over the waves. The nose kind of dived down, hit the bottom of the river. Savage speeders. Can their speed translate on the water? So far, yes. Clever little move, moving slightly to the left over that waterfall to pitch them back into the middle and avoid some of the obstacles. Next waterfall, successful again. Couple of clips of the barriers, but overall, Savage speeders keeping it straight. Down here, can they keep to the right? A nudge, 2nd nudge. 3rd nudge, not good. And that loses all of the speed that they had built up across the line, middle of the pack. 38-41 for the Savage speeders. Now for the Hazers. Down they come, and it's a good launch. Through the first waterfall, they keep it pretty straight. A little bit of a, I don't know if you want to call that a drift through this 2nd sector. They also use that same strategy that we just saw from the Savage speeders, where they move to the left on that waterfall, and it actually gets them in better position. Now down through the next one. Big speed coming. They've done a great job to keep this off the wall so far. All-important final sector. To the right, off the grass. Can they get it across the line? Time ticking away. 36. 3-1, and it's good enough for second place. Very close. Now the Green Ducks. How well are they going to take to the water? Pretty smooth. And through waterfall number 1. 36-31. That time from the Hazers, pretty good. They use a similar strategy, moving to the left through the second waterfall. Keeping them in the flow. Down they come. Another successful traverse. One waterfall to go, then they have to get by the vegetation on the right. And they do. Yes, they do. Get the speed built up. Can they keep it going? The Green Ducks across the line. And that is a guaranteed medal. They finish first, 33-7-4, and it's a new MarbleLympics record. So the Raspberry Racers, after watching the MarbleLympics record fall, the Green Ducks, they know they've got a medal. Question is, will it be gold? Raspberry Racers try to keep it off the walls. They get it collected. Moving to the right through that waterfall. Appeared to be the slower line. Now is it through the next one? A little bit off kilter. Not having the speed built up like they need to, although toward the end, right before the final waterfall, they do. Oh man, that raft pitched vertically, but everybody somehow stays inside of it. They're not going to beat the time. They're not going to do it. The Raspberry Racers, where do they finish? Just 6th. And the Green Ducks have got their second gold medal of the MarbleLympics. 25 points in a time of 33-7-4, obliterating the rest of the field by over 2 seconds. A fantastic job by the Green Ducks. The Midnight Wisps collect second place and a silver medal. The Hazers, good enough for third. The Ducks coach, Bombay, very proud of his team, setting themselves up well for the final few events and a chance at a MarbleLympics championship. The Oceanics, in the meantime, cruelly, they become the first team who will not be able to win the MarbleLympics. Next up, the Elimination Race. With just a few events left in the 2019 MarbleLympics, we reach the Elimination Race. Hello, everybody. I'm Greg Woods. The Green Ducks hold an 11-point advantage with 4 events to go. We've already started to eliminate teams that cannot win the overall MarbleLympics. In this particular event, cross the line last, and you are eliminated in this event. If a marble gets stuck somewhere on the course and doesn't cross the line, they will also be eliminated if they're higher up the course. Avoid the traps as you come down and start a chain reaction of ball bearings and marbles shooting across the track. Also, a little extra incentive. If you win this group, you advance straight to the final. So win first, you go first to the final. All right. Down they come. Everybody doing a pretty good job so far of avoiding some of these trapped marbles. A couple of them starting to launch there midway down. Remember, it's not finishing first. It's who is going to finish last. As you look from the top there, might give you a better view. The Green Ducks pushing across. It will be the Pinkies who are eliminated first. Bounding off of some of these walls and traps. And that means Indigo Stars, Diego doing a good job of winning that first heat. That sends them directly to the final. All right, 6 remaining in Group A. Hazers fall to last. Now they get past the O'Rangers, who get stuck. The O'Rangers get stuck. Mandarin is caught. It looked like on a gap in the course or something. We'll have to see how that plays out. If it stays that way, then the O'Rangers are going to be eliminated. And across the line down here, the Green Ducks are the last one to cross. But as I said, the O'Rangers stuck higher up on the course, and it looked like they just kind of got set directly on a gap and couldn't get going again. Let's watch the replay down here. A little bump from the Hazers sends them backwards. And apparently the MarbleLympics committee has decided to give them a couple of consolation points because of the track defect. All right, round 3. 4 remaining. Trying to determine who else goes to the final. Already they trigger one of the green trap marbles that snakes its way down the course and starts the chain reaction. Ball bearings being launched. The Midnight Wisps are in last. They're battling to stay alive with the Midnight Wisps and the Hazers. Trap Little Island gets pushed across the line. It doesn't end up mattering. Mellow Yellow comes across in second place. And the Hazers will come last. There you see across the line a great last little spurt from Mellow Yellow to come across the line. Hazers. Oh, and actually they're going to eliminate both Midnight Wisps and the Hazers. It's not just who crossed the line last, it's who crosses the line last and second to last in that particular heat. Now in Group B. So the final beginning to take shape. Same thing here. If you finish first in this first race, you advance directly to the final. Savage Speeder's doing a good job down there. Somebody streaked all the way down to the bottom. Is that the Oceanics? Is that the Thunderbolts? We'll have to see. I'm looking farther up the course, though. There's another Blue Marble fighting back to try to stave off elimination, and that one will be the Oceanics. It was the Thunderbolts that came across first and will advance to the final, and it is the Oceanics who are eliminated, finishing in dead last. Story of the MarbleLympics for them, unfortunately. Coach Tide, very unhappy. The manager, Reef, apparently has been called in. They're having a discussion, and I think they're going to fire the coach on the spot. Tide has been fired. The head coach of the Oceanics in shame. In the meantime, the race going on behind them, but the Oceanics, they are eliminated. They go no further. Already cannot win the MarbleLympics. Drama on the sidelines. Meanwhile, Crazy Cat's Eyes, they're going to come across first. They are safe. Ooh, is that Balls of Chaos getting stuck back there briefly? And I think they will be eliminated next. So we see Raspberry Racers, Jungle Jumpers coming across the line. Savage Speeders next. Crazy Cat's Eye, they will advance to the final. Balls of Chaos, Anarchy, the captain cannot get them up there. And they are eliminated. Ooh, a little bit of shoving back there with the Raspberry Racers getting pushed to the side. Crazy Cat's Eyes feeling pretty good, though. They've made it to the final. 4 remaining. Top 2, as we now know, will advance. Resi getting hung up there briefly. Savage Speeders, they're last right now. Also, the Jungle Jumpers look to be in danger of elimination unless they can get past, and they do. Team Galactic. Team Galactic now falls back into elimination, gets bumped by a ball bearing. Will they fall behind the Savage Speeders? Who is down the line farther? Who's going to make it across? Ooh, nearly getting blocked there, coming across the line. We're the Jungle Jumpers. Savage Speeders will finish last. Who was second to last? And it was Team Galactic. Yes, indeed. So the Raspberry Racers and the Jungle Jumpers will advance and move on to the final. There you see farther down who finishes 9th through 16th. The Oceanics fans clearing out. Look at them back there. They are done. They are so upset with this. They were hoping they could scrounge a little bit of energy to try to have at least a few good finishes late in the MarbleLympics, and it's all come undone. Round 1 of the finals. I think we're back to the whole finish last, and you are eliminated right now. That dubious distinction looking like it's going to go to Mellow Yellow. Coming across the line down below, we've got our first finishers. That's the Chocolatiers. Who's going to finish last? Thunderbolts come across. Is anybody still stranded up the course? If not, the Thunderbolts are done. And back and forth, it is the Thunderbolts who are eliminated. Back and forth there between the Chocolatiers, Raspberry Racers, the Indigo Stars. Shoving back and forth. Look at Crazy Cat's Eye making up some ground, getting by 2 marbles. Trying to make it 3, and is successful. That's what you got to do in an event like this. You have to wonder, how much of these marbles are also trying to preserve energy? If you realize that you're safe farther down the course, do you ease off a little bit, knowing that you may need that energy for the next couple of rounds? Green Ducks out in front. Are they going to be in that situation? Crazy Cat's Eye. They look to the high side. Jungle Jumpers right now are in last. No, wait. I think Mellow Yellow got stuck. If so, that means they are going to be eliminated. Crazy Cat's Eye, they're going to come across the line last. but I am pretty certain we saw a yellow marble stuck higher up the course, in which case mellow yellow should be confirmed on the graphic here. They will be done. Mellow yellow gets stuck on the near side, and they are eliminated, just as that replay ended. 6 marbles remaining. All right, round 3. Chocolatiers bursting down the course. And then getting stuck! The Chocolatiers stuck on the high side. Oh, and that ball bearing will not even come close to breaking them loose. And they will be eliminated. Everybody else can let off the gas, coast across the line, and they do. They come across in a big group. A few of the others just taking their time. They know the Chocolatiers are done. Very strong finish there. Actually, several of these marbles, but like I said, you don't need to. Even though the Indigo Stars were 2/10 clear, Chocolatiers are now eliminated. Competitors move back up to the starting gate where 5 remain. But you see, just getting stuck over there against the wall. Off they go. 5 remain. All of the trap marbles being sent. Ducks and Eagle Stars down there. Crazy Cat's Eye trying to get things going again. Did we have somebody stuck higher up? We've already got one finisher. Oh, and Green Ducks are going to be stuck up there as well. Looking in the left center of that inset up top, the Green Ducks are caught. So who all finished in this one? 2 finishers, 3 finishers. And it will be the Jungle Jumpers, because the Green Ducks, Quacky is farther down the course. So when you've got those 2 marbles stuck, it is who is higher up. 4 left. Crazy Cat's Eye getting in front. With these few marbles remaining, this is where it becomes that much more important to avoid danger. Indigo Stars, they come up there and now fall back behind, and they're caught over on the wall. Both they and the Raspberry Racers get going again. Crazy Cat's Eye, I think they're going to cross the line first. If all stays clear, yes they do. Green Ducks are coming next. Who is going to be eliminated? Raspberry Racers get across the line. Indigo Stars, they go no further. Everything kind of coming undone later in that course. And advancing on. Red Eye, Quacky, and Resi. We'll put those 3 teams back up top as we get ready. These will be your medalists. Question is, in what order? The crowd can feel the intensity building. This is the final final. Who gets gold in the elimination race? Green Ducks a little bit quicker out of the gate, but then getting caught up. Crazy Cat's Eye is stuck. Crazy Cat's Eye is high-pointed on that middle obstacle in the course. Look at the speed down below. The Green Ducks try to pull off the biggest upset for a new team in MarbleLympics history. They're not going to get there. They're going to get stuck. The Raspberry Racers get gold. Green Ducks will take a silver, though. Oh, with the finish line in sight. Whew. One has to sting just a little bit, but a silver and some good points. But the Raspberry Racers doing what they need to do to challenge the Green Ducks, who sit above them in the order. 25 points to 20. That should help. The Raspberry Racers stand atop the podium with the Green Ducks to their right and Crazy Cat's Eye to their left. Silver and bronze respectively. In a hard-fought elimination race that took a lot out of these racers. The top 4 stay the same. Crazy Cat's Eye move up to 5th, but we've eliminated 2 more teams. Next up, surfing. Surf's up in Event 14 of the 2019 MarbleLympics. Hello, everybody. I'm Greg Woods. Marbles in a very tall gate, ready to hang 10, if that's physically possible for them. An 11-point lead for the Green Ducks came down after the last event, but they still hold on to the top spot of the MarbleLympic standings with just a few events to go. In this particular head-to-head surfing contest. Each marble heads down onto the board. They have to get as far out into the water as they can. They'll then drop to the bottom and snake their way past the finish line underwater. Their scores being based off of both surfing distance and the time that it takes them to get across. If they get across in under 30 seconds, you get a bonus added on. The bonus is 30 seconds minus your time. So you want to go farther and quicker. In this case, Tangerine from the O'Rangers, 21 on the surf distance to 13. That makes all the difference when their times were very close. Also, if you look over their shoulders, you will see the Oceanics fans are back. They've got a new coach and a little bit more optimism. Green Ducks and the Pinkies. Down they come, underwater. Pinkies in the lead for now, but watch the Green Ducks on the near side. This is going to be very close. The Green Ducks will come across first, but it's all going to come down to surf distance between them. And you're only a length or so apart. 28 to 23. And that means that the Pinkies win between the two of them and go into first. Each marble getting an attempt on each of the lanes. Their better attempt is what's used to score them. Indigo Stars and the Savage Speeders. Boards waiting at the bottom. Ooh, I think Indigo Stars had a much better surf distance. They're also going to have a pretty good time on the finish. Several lengths clear of the Savage Speeders. So what does that work out to with math and the bonus? Ooh, and it was a better surf distance than I thought, 22 to 20. So Bingo does beat the captain of the Savage Speeders, but it is only good enough provisionally for fifth. Red Eye, the captain for Crazy Cat's Eye, and Chalk from the Chocolatiers. Down they come, Chocolatiers held on a little bit farther. And can they win the underwater race part? Yes, they will. A few lengths clear of the Crazy Cat's Eyes. 27 on the surf distance to just 11. Woo, that's a big difference. Fourth and eighth, respectively, for now. Jungle Jumpers and the Midnight Wisps. Skip seemed to ride that one out a little bit farther. And several lengths clear of Waspy, who's bumping up against the wall, and that is doing no favors for speed. Across the line. Judges measuring up top. 22 to 18 on the surf distance. 9/10 clear on the run down to the finish line. And that gives the win head-to-head against the Jungle Jumpers, but that is only good enough provisionally for sixth. In heat 6 of 8, Jelle and Pulsar. Looked to be a good ride for Mellow Yellow. Jelle well out in front. Pulsar trying to make a little bit of ground up, but unless somehow that surf distance was better than Mellow Yellow, well, I think Mellow Yellow have captured this easily. Where do they stack up in the overall? That's first! 29 on the surf distance, and a 9.89 for time. 49.11 the mark to beat. And there you see Lagoon, the interim coach of the Oceanics, who will take them the rest of the way, of course, firing their coach after a dead last finish in one of the heats in the last event. Can Oceanics salvage anything here, and can Lagoon start to turn the tide? Well, they will not cross the line first in this one. Where do they stack up to everybody else? They need some points. They are, of course, one of 3 teams who cannot even finish in the top 3 in the MarbleLympics. They sit in 8th. Good job, Raspberry Racers. 3rd, 49.92. Raspberry Racers trying to chase the Green Ducks in the overall standings. Now remember, all of these are the first runs. Marbles will switch tracks for the second round. Hazers and the Thunderbolts. Hazy, the team captain, almost looked like getting out close to 30. Thunderbolts doing a good challenge underwater, but losing out in the final few lengths. Hazers will cross the line first. 4 lengths clear. What was the surf distance? Let's see. 31 and 27. The Hazers have moved up to first. 20.68 the time bonus added on to that surf distance. And the Hazers provisionally sit in first after round 1. 51-6-8. A couple clear. While we get ready for the second round, remember, you can buy merchandise items in our shop. Please check our video description for the link to get all of the newest MarbleLympics gear. Round 2, everybody switched lanes. Balls of Chaos in the O'Rangers. Snarl riding that one out fairly far. And Snarl has hit Tangerine underwater after the surfboard's flipped over. The committee determining that this is an accident. Already that was a swift decision, saying nope, it was not on purpose, don't worry. But that does put these marbles quite a good distance apart. Snarl for Balls of Chaos. Never mind. This is based on round 2 only. Oh, I got really excited there until I saw the 45 and thought, wait a minute, that's not right. Oh, there you can see the impact highlighted there. That's what sent Snarl backwards so far. Heavy impact. Both competitors are okay. Pinkies and the Green Ducks. It looked like the Pinkies got the better surf distance on this one, but the Green Ducks have pulled in front underneath. They're going to cross the line first and get a little bit of ground made up on time. What does the surf distance come down to? 27 and 23. That's pretty close. 46.50 is good enough for first in round 2, but that's not better than the Pinkies' first round score. Speedy and Bingo. And the Savage Speeders and the Indigo Stars. Ooh, both pretty good rides on the board. Neck and neck as they come down here, bouncing up against the wall. That might hurt the Indigo Stars a little bit. Now they move to the inside, outside, across the line. And the Indigo Stars just pipped the Savage Speeders. 31 to 28 on the surf distance. A little bit more between them in time than I thought. 0.09 of a second. Bingo from the Indigo Stars moves provisionally to first in the round and second overall. Chocolatiers and Crazy Cat's Eyes. Tough to tell on the surf distance on that one. No curls to ride in this one. Underwater they come. Chocolatiers 3 lengths clear. That'll help them a little bit with time. We need to see the replays for the surf distance. It happens so quick. 26.14, Chocolatiers provisionally in second. 46.15, that's probably in the overall not going to be enough to compete. There you see the difference in how far they rode the waves. Waspy and Skip in heat 5 of 8. And they come. Big advantage for Skip. That advantage stays clear on the run down across the line. That was a pretty good chase underwater by the Midnight Wisps. Waspy not able to get there, but a 33 on the ride by Skip. Moves the Jungle Jumpers in round 2 at least into first, but look at the score, 53.48. That's a tremendous score. First overall. Team Galactic and Mellow Yellow. We see what they've got to beat. Now they go, getting way off kilter on the board. Team Galactic did not enter the water well, but they're trying to make up for it in a little bit of speed. They don't want to lose any more to Mellow Yellow. They closed up that gap decently well, but that was a disaster entering the water. Have to see it on the replay here. Team Galactic, 11th. Look at that. Almost went backwards. Just dropped off, did not get centered on the board well at all. Center of gravity just losing them off the back. 7 of 8. Raspberry Racers and the Oceanics. Latter of whom desperate to get a good result for their new coach Lagoon. It's not going to be a great ride. Can they get to the line first? They move back to the middle of the course, take the lead. Can they fend them off? They move in front and guarantee that they will at least cross the line first. Will it be enough to make up for a relatively short ride on the board? No. Oceanics, another bad result. No medal here. Raspberry Racers in the meantime, total opposite. Masterful riding, past 25, they drop in. But that's actually going to be worse than their first round score. Thunderbolts and the Hazers, last ones in round 2. Looks like Thunderbolts have the better ride, but the better run goes to the Hazers. Couple lengths clear. What does it work out to? 29 and 16, good enough for third provisionally for the Thunderbolts. In this round, 15th for the Hazers. That's disappointing for them. Just getting way off to the side and dropping really quickly off the board. The results of round 2. 53-48, the Jungle Jumpers and the Indigo Stars. And that's where it ends. The Jungle Jumpers win the event with that total score of 53-48. Way to ride that one out. The Hazers pick up the silver because of their score from round 1. And the Indigo Stars, the bronze. A daunting drop down, all the gravity pulling you down toward the course, then you have to collect yourself. And the Raspberry Racers have moved into first. By 2 points, they have overtaken the Green Ducks with only 2 events remaining. An event that competitors have been fearing, have been worried about since the very beginning of the MarbleLympics. Collision. Hello everybody, I'm Greg Woods. Last event, the Raspberry Racers overtook the Green Ducks at the top of the MarbleLympics standings in a battle that I don't think anybody saw coming heading into this year's events. For this particular one, Collision, a straight-out brawl. You saw those ball bearings at the beginning. Those can be launched if you bump into the ramps. The yellow ones in the middle are a little bit stronger than the ones out on the edges. For every opponent's marble that you knock off, you get a point. Out they go to the sides. Chocolatiers keeping 3 on, and it looks like they're going to come away as the early winners on this one. Look at them all bunching together in that little circle. That spread them out and dissipated a lot of energy as they blew everybody to the side. So in each group, 6 matches, so each team will play 3 times against 3 different opponents. Only the best 2 teams of each group will advance to the quarterfinals. So many different strategies that the marbles will take in this event. Down they come, O-Rangers and Crazy Cat's Eyes. Look at the O-Rangers keeping 2 of them in the center. Another one off to the left. And watch them, it's almost like a line that they got in and just put all of that energy forward, splaying the Crazy Cat's Eyes in 3 different directions. Crazy Cat's Eyes, I think their strategy was the absolute wrong one to have. If you're going to come in a circle, you don't want to be facing a pike of sorts. That'll just split right through you. All right, Hazers and Crazy Cat's Eyes now. Hard hit, everybody heading to the edges. The ball bearings, 3 of them have been released. And more. Cyan Eye getting a nasty punch. Apparently only a minor injury we're hearing, but Crazy Cat's Eyes, a lot of them on the board. I can see at least 4, but same for the Hazers. Unless there's one hiding down in the corners here. So if the steel ball comes down or falls off the arena, no points or penalties awarded. It just kind of happens. So you can see 4 of them. 5 were launched. But if the steel balls do knock your marbles off, like we just saw down at the bottom right there, well, that does count for the other team. The result of match 3 is a draw. Amazing. With all of that chaos, only 1 of each team's marbles being knocked off. Chocolatiers and the O-Rangers. There's good impact again by the Chocolatiers. And they're going to keep 2 in the middle. This time the O-Rangers not quite as organized as the last time. Immediately losing 2 far side and near side, and then off in that upper corner, Chocolatiers dropped 1 down on the low side. And several of them followed suit. Almost exactly same gaps that the O-Rangers went through, and as a result, another draw. O-Rangers staring down the Hazers. Several of them went straight through, and I don't know if that was strategy or a mistake, but the Hazers are going to keep 2 of them on as opposed to 1. That should be enough to get them the win. Look at how bunched the Hazers were. It kind of worked to their advantage, I would have thought, but a lot of them headed off to the sides anyway. Watch on the right there, that lucky bump stays on. Interesting, the O-Rangers sent 3 to the right side, as we're looking down at right now, and they all ended up getting swept off the course. Hazers win by 1. Chocolatiers and Crazy Cat's Eyes. Several of them went straight through in that one, too. 2 ball bearings released. And thankfully, everybody got out of the way. This is also going to be a draw, it appears. 3 apiece staying on the board. Remember, it's the ones that go off that count. For the points, that is. And it's 2-2. 2 marbles apiece knocked off for the opponents. The Chocolatiers tied again, but they will advance to the quarterfinals. Remember, a win, 3 match points. It's just enough to get them on to the next round. If there's a tie between second and third place, by the way, points difference will be used as a tiebreaker. In this case, O'Rangers advance, and the Hazers go no further. In Group B, we begin, and it's a lot of marbles heading off. One of the ball bearings came down. And it looks like the Green Ducks, they get all in line, knocking it off to the side, and that one Green Duck is going to be launched off there in the far corner by that ball bearing from the right. A couple of them just speared straight off, but the Balls of Chaos followed with them, and it results in a draw. Midnight Wisps and the Indigo Stars. Ball bearing sent, and that knocked two of the Indigo Stars off. One of the Midnight Wisps follows suit, but I see 3 Wisps on the board compared to 2 Indigo Stars. We'll watch that ball bearing on the top side. Ooh. A friendly hello. Oh, man, that ball bearing, they are really a chain reaction. And they send them flying. As a result, Midnight Wisps, they win the match 3-2. Green Ducks and the Midnight Wisps. Goose, the one in the back for the Green Ducks, and he comes to a complete stop. That actually works pretty well. He's safe on the board, as are 3 of his teammates. And the Green Ducks have a pretty good victory in this one. Only one of their marbles getting knocked off. Midnight Wisps opting for kind of a 2-3 attack, but it just fell to pieces. Replay zooms in. Look at how many of the Green Ducks are already stationary. 4-1. That's a drubbing. Green Ducks fans still in disbelief about the way that this MarbleLympics has gone for them. They want to bring it home, though. In the penultimate event, Balls of Chaos and Indigo Stars. Balls of Chaos almost got completely knocked off the board. 2 of them held on at the base of the ramps, which is dangerous. You don't want to hang on to those too much, because if you launch one of those ball bearings, you are gone. 3 Balls of Chaos coming to the near side, down there at the bottom of your screen. In concert. Much better strategy that time for the Indigo Stars. Indigo Montoya back there came all the way across and settled at the base. They win 3-1. Back in the gate for the Green Ducks. The Green Ducks opt for the same sort of strategy as before, and it's going to turn out exactly the same for them. 4 stay on the board, but this time a better challenger. That's this Green Ducks. They opt for a 1-3-1, and as they make the hit, almost tripping that ball bearing down at the bottom for the Indigo Stars. Indigo Stars just going wide. And if anything, maybe that does bleed off a little bit of momentum and energy that might keep you on the board, but they come up on the short end of that match. Final of Group B. 6 of 6, Balls of Chaos and the Wisps. Everybody heads out to the side. One of the ball bearings is released, but it doesn't actually cause a lot of damage. Hanging on the sides here. Both of them really bunched up when they made their initial contact. Great job, upper right. Nudging that block, but the Midnight Wisps able to stay on the board. You can see the block is kind of bent backward a little bit, but Balls of Chaos just a little bit better. They come away with the win. Advancing out of the group, the Green Ducks and the Balls of Chaos. The Indigo Stars and Midnight Wisps, they are eliminated. Is speed the key in this event? Well, we're about to find out. The first match of Group C, the Savage Speeders and the Pinkies. Hit to the middle and a lot of missed impacts. The Pinkies are going to keep all of them on the board. Whether that was by design or accident, I don't know. I think their line kind of fell apart a little bit, the Pinkies. They were coming down in a 1-3-1, but it dropped off. All of them knocked to the side, but they weren't able to clear very many of the Savage Speeders. Still, enough for a 2-0 win. The Thunderbolts and the Jungle Jumpers from near to far, respectively. Impact comes out center side, knocks them back and forth. 2 ball bearings are released and causes a little bit more chaos. Another one of the Thunderbolts fell victim. 3-2 on the line for the Thunderbolts. Spreads them out wide and knocks those ball bearings apiece. Ooh, a brush there on that upper left marble. But overall, Thunderbolts actually did a pretty good job of getting out of the way, and their evasiveness gives them a 2-1 win. Savage Speeders and the Thunderbolts now. Velocity in back goes all the way across for the Savage Speeders. 2 ball bearings are released and knocks one of the Savage Speeders out. Oh, that marble thought it was safe, in the upper left corner. It's settled right between those two openings. And then all of a sudden, here comes the ball bearing, and thwack! That enough to break what would have been a draw. Instead, the Thunderbolts come away with the win. Pinkies and the Jungle Jumpers. Jungle Jumpers bunched together, and it looked like it was going to work, and it does work. But what do the ball bearings do? So many of them being released. Look at the Jungle Jumpers huddling together, hoping that if it does bump them, they can at least go around it. Yes, they do. Still creeping ball bearings. Watch that upper left of your screen. Oh boy, that was close. What a job by the Jungle Jumpers. Also kind of a modified 1-3-1 at an angle a little bit. They lose one to the near side. And then here comes the ball bearings. Thankfully, that one Jungle Jumper hit the ramp that had already been deployed. And that keeps them safe enough, easily, to walk away with a victory in match 4. I don't know when the Savage Speeders adopted a chainsaw as a logo, but all right. Is it going to work for them? No, they get the buzzsaw here from the Jungle Jumpers. That is going to be a Jungle Jumper victory. Interesting, spreading one way out to the side. I don't know if that was just a misstep that sent that Jungle Jumper way to the other side and straight off the course. No impact at all. Regardless, enough for a 3-2 win. The final match of Group C, Pinkies and the Thunderbolts. Down they come on a 2-3 for the Thunderbolts. They send one of the ball bearings. 3 Thunderbolts grouping together over on the far side, but same can be said for the Pinkies until you notice at the bottom of that yellow ramp where that ball bearing is going, there is a 4th member of the Pinkies still on the board. 1-2-2 almost that the Pinkies sent. And just soft enough, they keep those blocks from falling, and the Pinkies get the win. That is some delicate stuff there. Unfortunately, it is not enough for them to advance. Off of the points differential, the Pinkies lose out. The Jungle Jumpers and the Thunderbolts move on. On to Group D with the Raspberry Racers and the Oceanics. They're going to lose 3 right off the bat. Oceanics, nearly trigger the ball bearing on the right side. And instead, once they all come settled, they realize there's one more Raspberry Racer than Oceanic out on the board. That was almost an arrow-shaped attack by the Raspberry Racers, what some would call a 3-1-1. And the Raspberry Racers pick up a 1-point win. Team Galactic to the near side, Mellow Yellow to the far. Hard impact sends some marbles straight back in the other directions. But 4 are holding on for Mellow Yellow. 4 are holding on for Team Galactic. I would say we have a draw. Relatively straightforward 3-2 that Team Galactic came out with. Didn't give them a huge advantage. It was almost I don't even know what you would call that from Mellow Yellow, but it worked out fairly well. It's almost an X shape. 2 ball bearings released now, but nobody there for them to collect. Raspberry Racers are going to sneak on by. 3-2. Left on the board. Flip that math and give you what they get in points. I'm always doing that. I'm always saying who's left on the board, but other way around. 3-2. The Raspberry Racers get the win. 5 stars indeed. Looking pretty good out there. Oceanics and Mellow Yellow. Oceanics need a good finish in one of these. They lose 2-3 to the near side immediately. But they may get lucky because Mellow Yellow may do the same. This will be a draw. Mellow Yellow immediately losing 2 up there. Very lucky not to trip that yellow ball bearing in the top center. The team's not quite centered when they hit each other. Some teams prefer to do that. Others believe that they are the stronger team and they want to hit square on. Doesn't always work. Mellow Yellow and the Raspberry Racers, and all came apart for the Raspberry Racers there. Good chunk of their team just took a beeline to the top side and went through the same 3-block gap. Just a glancing blow from the bulk of Mellow Yellow. And there's where that being off kilter really hurt you. Mellow Yellow able to bunch together at the bottom of that ramp and keep themselves safe. Oceanics and Team Galactic, they need a win. Oceanics, can they get it? One comes straight across. They've got 4 on the board if they can hold it. And yes, they will. The Oceanics finally have something to smile about. Just firing their coach 2 events ago. Lagoon stepping in the last event. Not to the results that they wanted in surfing. At least they get a win in this particular match. But is it going to be enough for them to advance? 4-1, that's a pretty good differential. And no, Oceanics are eliminated in the group stage. Raspberry Racers, who sit at the top of the MarbleLympics standings, and Mellow Yellow move on. Into the quarterfinals we go. A long, arduous event. Fans are nervous, the teams trying desperately to calm back down, get their game faces on. Raspberry Racers and Balls of Chaos enter the arena and may have just played to a draw. 3-1-1 for the Racers. And that did spear one of the Balls of Chaos off to the right side. The other one tried his best to get the Raspberry Racers off. So 1-1, because the quarterfinals, we do it again until somebody gets knocked off. One Ball of Chaos is down to the near side, but that was from the first heat, so we have another draw. 3 Raspberry Racers setting up that front line to make the initial contact. A ball bearing nearly taking out a second Ball of Chaos, but we're tied again. This time, several self-inflicted wounds, and the Balls of Chaos should come away with it. Watching on that left side, everybody's settled now. Just kind of came down almost in a little box, a little diamond pattern. And that'll do it. Balls of Chaos come away 2-3, 3-2 rather. And they will advance. Chocolatiers and the Thunderbolts in quarterfinal B. Line being hit, off they spread. And the Thunderbolts are going to come up short. Thunderbolts immediately sent to the sides. One of them came straight through and had too much momentum up there in the upper left and careened straight through the block. That is a loss. Chocolatiers will move on. On to the Green Ducks and Mellow Yellow. Green Ducks trigger 2 of the ball bearings. They manage to keep in the middle if they can avoid the steal. They might win this one, but watch on the left side. They're going to lose another one. It ends in a draw. Tight bunch by Mellow Yellow when they had the initial impact. But this one, as you see it on the right there, it wasn't even going to matter if that steel ball got over there. Just could not slow down enough. Green Ducks getting a little bit eager. So into the gate, 2 versus 2. Slight little nudge. And the Green Ducks are going to be knocked out completely and figuratively of the event. The team that is trying to bring it home and win the MarbleLympics, who needed to keep pace with the Raspberry Racers, instead is eliminated in the quarterfinals. Mellow Yellow moves on. Jungle Jumpers and the O'Rangers. The start of the boom from the crowd. And oh yes, that's going to work. Only losing 1 while knocking off 4. How did they do it? A tight bunch and that spear again. We've seen them do that before. They're one almost as a sacrifice up to the upper left. Everybody else splayed to the near side and over to the right. Some of the O'Rangers knocked straight back. I guess that's what you want on a solid impact. It's a benefit. And a 4-1 result. 5th through 8th is set. Raspberry Racers, they finish in 5th. Green Ducks just behind them. Balls of Chaos and the Chocolatiers in semifinal A. Oh, and a couple of marbles hanging on the edge, especially over there on the left. That might be enough for the Balls of Chaos. And it is 3-2. Balls of Chaos are on to the finals. Mellow Yellow and the O'Rangers. That spear didn't take too much shape for the O'Rangers, but it actually worked out for them until the ball bearings came by. Oh, is the same thing going to happen on the left? Oh, 2 Mellow Yellows pinned up against the corner with the fate of the match on the line. And they stay safe. And the O'Rangers come away with the win. Wow! That was a little unexpected. The 3rd place match, Chocolatiers and Mellow Yellow. No time to regroup. That ball bearing tried desperately to knock the Chocolatiers out, but they stay on the board. Unfortunately for them, more mellow yellows did too. Solid impact, immediately got those ball bearings going. Lost one mellow yellow because of it. Almost lost another. But the Chocolatiers come up just short. And so it goes. O'Rangers and the Balls of Chaos. Impact off to the side. Balls of Chaos lose a couple. O'Rangers, as the ball bearings get released, they're going to lose another one on the far side. They opt not for the spear, but the O'Rangers have done enough. O'Rangers have won gold. Balls of Chaos, that is their first medal of the MarbleLympics. They are happy about it. Not quite as happy as the O'Rangers, who net 25 points and a gold medal. O'Rangers up on top. Balls of Chaos and Mellow Yellow are winners. Our podium finishers. Oceanics fans, they are pretty done with this. If you look at the standings, they are locked in to 16th. They cannot advance. The Raspberry Racers, the Green Ducks, and the Hazers, in the meantime, are the only three who can win the MarbleLympics as it comes down to the final event, the Sand Rally. Across 15 events in these MarbleLympics, teams have competed in feats of strength, of stamina, of speed, and of mind. And now just 3 teams remain able to win eternal glory in a MarbleLympics championship. Hello everybody, and welcome to the 16th and final event of these games. I'm Greg Woods. The Sand Rally awaits the Raspberry Racers, the Green Ducks, and the Hazers, the only 3 teams who are able to win it. 1 marble apiece from each of the 16 teams, a lot of team captains in there as well. Down they come. Off they go. Balls of Chaos out in front. Savage Speeders taking second, now fall back. O'Rangers up to the lead after capturing gold in the last event. Now they have a lot of trouble moving through those quick chicanes to start things off. The Raspberry Racers move up into first. If they finish in first, they win the MarbleLympics. Hazers, in the meantime, who you see just off to the left side of the screen, they have to finish first or second and have a little bit of help in the meantime. The Green Ducks mired back in the pack. You can see in the inset on the bottom left of your screen. Raspberry Racers not caring about that at all. Their eyes only forward. They can afford to lose a couple of spots depending on who's behind them, but they want to keep cruising out in first. Team Galactic, who desperately need a good finish to these games, back in second. O'Rangers, Balls of Chaos, Indigo Stars now in 5th place. Savage Speeders and the Midnight Wisps back behind. The Wisps also wanted to get a good points haul late in the season to try to bump themselves up into the standings. Halfway through the course, though, everybody wondering who's going to win the 2019 MarbleLympics. And right now, unless a challenge materializes from the Green Ducks, it's going to be the Raspberry Racers. They're sitting in third. They've lost a couple of spots. Now they get one back from the Indigo Stars to move into second place. O'Rangers out in front, clear by 20 lengths. Farther behind, now it's a 5 marble pack fighting for second place. Raspberry Racers just following lockstep with everybody in front of them. Ooh, they get a little bit out of sorts moving through the apex of that turn, but they're able to recover nicely. Back into third place, now down into fourth. They're fine right there considering the marbles that are ahead of them. Balls of Chaos still out in front. O'Rangers now move into third place. They fall back. Dropping as well are the Raspberry Racers. Now they come back into third, trying to fight for second. You wonder if that drafting has saved a little bit of energy that they can use down in the bottom part of this course. But is it going to matter? Not so much, because wherever they finish, regardless, as robust as can be, the Raspberry Racers are your 2019 MarbleLympics champions. Team Captain Razzie gives them the victory. Also up there, Cosmo from Team Galactic and Tumult from Balls of Chaos. There you can see both the Green Ducks and the Hazers having trouble with that opening sawtooth chicane. Even getting bumped to the wall there in a fight with Crazy Cat's Eye. One of the teams that opted not to have their captain represent them in this race, but farther down here it was a little bit of a shoving match at times, but I think the other competitors fairly respectful, knowing that the Raspberry Racers were competing for a championship rather than just any old win in an event at some point in the games. No, this was the finale, the grand finale of a 16-event grueling marathon.
Congratulations to today's winner, Raspberry Racers.
The Raspberry Racers are your 2019 MarbleLympic champions, your bronze medalists. In the Sand Rally, congratulations to silver medalist Team Galactic and Coach Harmony. Super proud of Tumult from the Balls of Chaos for capturing gold. The Raspberry Racers, with 8 medals, win in the paradigm of consistency, podiuming nearly every other event, it seemed like, in the entirety of these games. Consistency is how you win an event like this, and in doing so, qualify for next year's MarbleLympics, along with the others of the top 3. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Time now for the closing ceremonies. So long, everyone.